Neat.
What did we title it?
Was it the last one?
Yeah.
Same thing.
What was it?
Illiteracy is a MAGA requirement. Every kind. Every kind of illiteracy.
Democracy Now!, democracynow.org, The War and Peace Report. I'm Anjali Kamath. Amy Goodman will be back later this week. Iran's leaders have threatened to halt all oil exports from the Persian Gulf and to treat any nation's support for U.S. sanctions against Iran as an act of war. The threat came ahead of today's announcement by Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent of what the Trump administration is calling an economic D-Day, aimed at completely severing Iran's remaining financial lifelines. This is Iranian Foreign Minister Abbas Araghchi.
This is a repetitive scenario, from the crippling sanctions imposed during the Obama administration to the maximum pressure campaign during Trump's first administration, and now the latest sanctions. All of these measures have been introduced under different titles, but they represent the same kind of bullying that we have always seen in American policy. In other words, it is the same movie they keep playing over and over again. We know this movie, so we know how to confront and deal with it.
On Sunday, Iran's currency, the rial, sank to a record low against the U.S. dollar. The International Monetary Fund now predicts Iran's economy will contract by nearly 5.5% this year. Fuel prices are surging in Iran, something that preceded nationwide protests in 2019 and earlier this year. In Gaza, 2 Palestinian brothers were killed and several others wounded when an Israeli warplane struck a tent sheltering displaced people near Al-Aqsa Hospital earlier today. The attack followed another bloody weekend in Gaza. On Sunday, Israeli forces killed at least 2 Palestinians, including 4-year-old Mohammed Abdel Salam Taha. Separately, a girl was injured by Israeli fire on Sunday in a camp north of Khan Yunis. According to Palestinian officials, Israel has violated the U.S.-brokered so-called ceasefire agreement nearly 4,400 times since it took effect in October. This is Abu Ahmed, a displaced Palestinian who was sheltering close to a building that was blown up by Israel on Sunday.
There is no ceasefire. There is nothing. There is nothing. Our lives are destroyed. Our youth are destroyed. What can we do? We want solutions. We want to live in peace. This does not make sense. This does not make sense. It's true these things are happening to other people, but I am also human. I see these things. People torn into pieces. We die. Our morale is destroyed.
Meanwhile, Israel's government has warned it may further intensify its attacks after several kites landed in an illegal Israeli settlement on Gaza's border.
Not kites.
Palestinian officials said the kites were flown by children, were made of paper, and posed no threat. But Israeli Defense Minister Israel Katz accused Hamas of launching attacks, calling the use of kites an act of war.
Oh.
Israel's
My
far-right
God,
National Security Minister Itamar Ben-Gvir has posted video on social media celebrating the construction of gallows where Palestinians will be hanged.
This is the facility. In this place, the terrorists will be executed. A hanging rope, viewing chambers where the crime victims will be able to come and watch, like in the United States, by the way. And we are fulfilling what we promised. Look, there were those who ridiculed.
The Nazis saying, look at America, they're doing it, so we are too?
In March, Israeli lawmakers passed a law mandating death by hanging for Palestinians who are convicted of terrorism offenses. Jewish Israelis will not face the same punishment for similar crimes. In 2008, Ben-Gvir himself was convicted by a court in Jerusalem of incitement to racism and supporting a terrorist organization. Diplomats from Syria and Israel held U.S.-brokered talks in Jordan on Sunday aimed at easing tensions following repeated Israeli attacks, including airstrikes on a major Syrian Air Force airbase. They were the first talks between the two countries in several months, coming after Israel on Saturday struck a civilian vehicle on the outskirts of Damascus. Israel said it had targeted a, quote, terrorist in the deadly drone strike, which left several bystanders wounded. This comes as Israel continues to occupy Syria's Golan Heights, which it seized in the 1967 war, as well as more territory in southwest Syria it seized after the fall of Bashar al-Assad. In Canada, Prime Minister Mark Carney has announced retaliatory tariffs on U.S. imports after talks collapsed without a deal on Friday. On Saturday, the U.S. slapped 50% tariffs on around $20 billion worth of imports from Canada. In response, Carney announced tariffs on $20 billion of U.S. products beginning on September 8th. Carney spoke to reporters on Saturday.
Why does it feel like today Mark Carney is going to war? Trade war. The tone.
Because we were attacked. Like, you're at war when you get attacked. We got attacked. The U.S. put 50%. We waited until the United States decided to actually implement these so-called 338 tariffs. That's fine.
We'll have more on the U.S.-Canada trade war after headlines when we'll speak with Avi Lewis, the leader of the New Democratic Party in Canada, and Lori Wallach of the American Economic Liberties Project. In New York, a federal judge has struck down a Trump administration ban on issuing visas to immigrants from 75 countries. When the policy was enacted in January, the State Department claimed, without evidence, that people from those nations are likely to receive public benefits after arriving in the U.S. Among the countries targeted were Afghanistan, Brazil, the Democratic Republic of Congo, Nigeria, Somalia, Sudan, and Yemen. In her ruling, U.S. District Judge Jeanette Vargas said Trump's measure was, quote, patently unlawful and violated federal immigration law by discriminating on the basis of nationality. In Texas, calls are mounting to shut down the South Texas Family Residential Center in Dilley, where it's estimated more than 100 children are being detained by ICE. This comes after a 5-year-old boy, identified as Liam Thadeo, and his father were taken by ICE on their way to a child's soccer game in Austin last week. Journalist Lydia Terrazas of Univision posted a video on social media showing Liam crying and his father handcuffed as they're escorted into a vehicle. The arrest happened just days before Liam was set to start kindergarten. This is Texas Democratic Congressmember Greg Casar.
ICE just arrested a 5-year-old boy on his way to a soccer game in my home city of Austin, Texas. His name, just like the name of the little boy from Minnesota, is Liam. And Liam should be starting kindergarten this week. But instead, he's sitting in a trailer prison right now in Dilley, Texas.
Texas Democratic Congressmember Joaquin Castro said ICE denied his request to visit Liam and his father at the ICE camp. Castro said afterwards, quote, his detention is another devastating example of why Dilley must be shut down and why our government must end the detention of children and families. I have seen firsthand the conditions that children and families are being subjected to at Dilley, and no child should be held there. Dilley is run by the for-profit prison company CoreCivic. More than 160 people have been deported to Haiti as the Trump administration begins to round up immigrants following the end of TPS, temporary protected status. It was the first deportation flight to Haiti after the Supreme Court greenlit the Trump administration's termination of TPS for an estimated 350,000 Haitians. The plane landed in the northern Haitian city of Cap-Haitien Thursday. The country's main international airport in Port-au-Prince has been deemed too dangerous due to gang violence and growing political instability. Many of those deported last week were TPS holders and had been living and working in the U.S. since 2010. In related news, a U.S. Navy sailor who is on his 9th month of deployment aboard the USS Abraham Lincoln said his father has been detained by ICE. Joshua Aviles said he'd received a call this weekend notifying him of his father's arrest. Luis Manuel Aviles was taken into custody during a traffic stop in Key West, Florida. His wife said he's a handyman with a valid U.S. work permit. Aviles is originally from Nicaragua and has lived in the U.S. for nearly 20 years. His son Joshua said on social media, quote, this is heartbreaking for me. I don't know how I can mentally continue working 12-plus-hour days, knowing that my dad is somewhere, possibly being treated like a criminal. My dad's only crime was coming to this country to give my siblings and me a better life. Tyson Foods, the largest meatpacking and processing company in the U.S., has shuttered 2 of its facilities in Illinois and Utah, laying off more than 3,000 workers. The company said in a release earlier this month that it'd be closing its Jocelyn, Illinois and Eagle Mountain, Utah facilities, claiming, quote, one of the most historic cattle shortages the country has ever experienced.
Thanks, Trump.
As the reason for the move. About 2,500 Tyson employees were impacted in Illinois alone due to the sudden closure of the plant. Workers and supporters held a rally in Jocelyn Friday in protest of the mass layoffs. They're demanding the facility be reopened, as well as 6 months of full compensation and benefits for workers who've been left jobless. This comes as Tyson Foods CEO and President Donnie King made over $34 million in 2025, according to the Securities and Exchange Commission. In northwest Indiana, thousands of homes remain without power nearly 2 weeks after high winds and torrential rain knocked down trees and power lines, leaving behind flooded basements and roads. More than 250,000 homes and businesses were affected by the storm. This is Desmond Pompey, a resident of hard-hit Gary, Indiana, where over 1 in 3 residents lived in poverty even before the disaster.
And these are all the things that people take for granted. The basic things as far as like power, taking a shower, flushing your toilet, anything of that nature like that. So we really under siege, and I hope they just take care of the situation.
And a private arbitrator has ordered the Washington Post to rehire the opinion columnist Karen Attiah with back pay. Attiah was fired last fall over comments she made about the death of conservative activist Charlie Kirk. Her termination came as the Washington Post laid off more than 300 journalists, dismantling its sports, local news, and international coverage, all under the ownership of billionaire Amazon founder Jeff Bezos. That followed Amazon's $1 million donation to President Trump's inaugural fund. Karen Attiah spoke to Democracy Now! In February.
The reason why this is an international news story, I think the Washington Post stands for a lot more than just a media company. It stands for a lot more than even just journalism, I would say. For a lot of people around the world, they're looking at the Washington Post as a proxy and a bellwether for what's happening to America and democracy.
And those are some of the headlines. This is Democracy Now!, democracynow.org, The War and Peace Report. I'm Anjali Kamath. Amy Goodman will be back later this week.
Thanks for watching Democracy Now! On YouTube. Subscribe to the channel.
In the United States. The New York Times is writing article after article, Fox News is doing hit pieces on Hassan Piker, and every remotely political podcast seems to be litigating the idea of DSA candidates in this election cycle.
So funny.
In 2024, one of the main criticisms, especially from the left, of the Kamala Harris campaign was that she didn't run on enough bold, transformative policies.
You also write in your book that you felt that Kamala Harris ran a cautious campaign.
I think it's very hard to say that Kamala Harris ran a campaign that spoke to the needs of the working class and was prepared to take on corporate greed.
And since Zoran Mamdani's election last fall, and a string of other successes by DSA candidates in congressional elections, the DSA's platform now seems to be the most substantive and proven response to that criticism. This is clearly a new moment, a special moment, and a lot of people have a lot of strong feelings about it. There's a lot of questions lingering in the air. Are these ideas good? Does the DSA represent an existential threat to the Democratic Party? And those are all good questions, some of which we'll touch on today. But there's a question I'm actually more interested in. Several times on this channel, I've broken down the rhetoric of mainstream politicians, people running for president, Senate candidates. And usually, I approach these exercises in a similar way. I look at the group the politician is trying to talk to. I try to figure out what those people care about, what language they speak in, and then see how the politician basically attempts to become literate in that
cat
language.
knocked out my
Because
fucking
I think that's how
camera.
most politics work. Voters want things, and the politician tries to convince voters that they're the person to make those things happen. But inherent in that understanding of political persuasion is one thing: the concept of legitimacy. A Republican in Texas, when thinking about whether or not they're going to vote for James Tallarico, for example, may have absolutely no interest in him. They may view him as a misguided figure, a sinister figure, someone who should never hold public office. But through some combination of familiarity with what Democrats believe and a begrudging acceptance of the Overton window, they do fundamentally acknowledge he is standing on the debate stage for real reasons. That there are millions of people that he, to some extent, speaks for, that he has some base level of popularity. And it's the same the other way around. Democrats have to contend with the fact that Trump is beloved by so many, that he is an avatar for many Americans, that even if these figures are not seen as good, they represent some kind of legitimacy in a democratic way. So politicians generally take advantage of this inherent legitimacy to get a foot in the door politically. But in the hours and hours I've spent looking into the mechanisms the DSA uses to communicate, I've come to realize they're playing a fundamentally different game. They're not trying to move voters from one district to another on the island of legitimacy. They're trying to get onto the island. Because the way socialism as a concept has been historically perceived in the United States is so far outside the Overton window, they don't have the same standing as conservatives or liberals. So I want to try to answer two questions in this video. Firstly, what are the ideas of the DSA? Are they more radical than things we've seen and heard before from people like Bernie Sanders? Is this really a different type of politics? And secondly, what kind of strategies do they use? What does the rhetoric of trying to legitimize yourself look like? And if the DSA is so vibrant and newsworthy and compelling for so many people in my ideological zone, why does it require legitimization? I think the best place to start is with this interview between David Remnick of The New Yorker and Megan Romer, one of the national co-chairs of the DSA. This interview is less than 2 weeks old, but it's already become pretty reputable as an example of the points I'll be making. It's extremely relevant to point out that The New Yorker is not really a DSA combative publication. It's not like Romer is going into some Fox News type lion's den. It's not a puff piece setting, but it's an intellectual center-left audience, with Remnick targeting clarity more than confrontation. This is nuts. My population growth is nuts. Remnick's first question to Romer is about her first principles.
Megan, let's start with first principles. What, to your mind, is democratic socialism?
Yeah, so just very simply, it is people having a democratic say-so in all of the things that they need to survive. So democratic control of their workplace, democratic control of their housing, and democracy in what we already know as democracy in the political process.
Okay, that proposes about 1 million questions. What does democracy in the workplace mean? Does everybody get to vote on what we're going to do today, tomorrow, and the next day?
So that's a very reasonable question. Democracy in the workplace is a phrase socialists have grown quite fond of in their marketing lately. It describes their core economic prescription, so this should also be somewhat of a layup for Romer.
The way we look at it is mostly probably pretty similar to how a unionized workplace would work today. You get to collectively decide with your coworkers what demands you want to make of your boss, what your schedule looks like, what your working environment looks like, and negotiate collectively with whoever the boss is.
Okay, but that sounds like simple unionization, which we already have, even though unions are not in the best spot they've ever been in this country.
That's true. So we'd like to see everybody have a union.
So that's kind of a strange answer. Everyone should be able to join a union. That's what democracy in the workplace means. Right off the bat, that sounds like a fairly Bernie Sanders-esque Northern Europe social democrat answer, which is fine, but Remnick is right to push here to flesh more out.
And what does it mean for the larger economics of a country? Do you believe in owning the means of production, as the Marxists used to say?
I do, yeah.
But you speak for whom?
Well, I speak for the Democratic Socialists of America, and I think that you will find
incorrect answer.
The demand long-term
Stan says you're a
for
wrong one.
The working class to be in charge
Bad
of
answer.
the
Bad
means of
answer.
government. Pretty universal.
Bad answer. It's a bad answer.
We're not, trying to flip a switch so that everything changes tomorrow.
That right there.
I was looking
Remember
for the red
her wording
page because
at
it's
the
the
end
one
there.
before, but
Romer
there's a
says that
second
the
red
means
page.
of production should be owned by the workers, and that this is the consensus position of the DSA. For those of you watching who are not super versed on left-wing politics, this is an extremely radical position in the context of the United States. Worker ownership of the means of production is the key proposition of actual Marxist socialism, in which private ownership of property becomes illegal, and all workplaces are collectively owned, either through state ownership or worker cooperatives. You can make defenses of this idea. I personally think it would be economically disastrous for any country it's implemented in, but that's not super relevant. What I'm interested in is how does Romer attempt to sell this super controversial idea to a relatively center-left audience?
We're not, trying to flip a switch so that everything changes tomorrow. We're thinking about ways you can incrementally make life better, for starters.
This qualifier makes sense on the surface. We hear this all the time. Don't worry, we're not trying to jump the gun and institute X world-changing policy overnight. But when you actually think about it, it doesn't really make much sense in the context. David Remnick, and by extension, everyone to the right of the average New Yorker reader, which is already quite far left, don't believe in worker ownership of the means of production. Their contention with the DSA on this issue isn't that full socialism will be implemented too quickly, it's that they take issue with it being achieved at all, that they don't want this system. You see this approach again when Ashik Sadiq, another DSA national co-chair, is interviewed on The Will Cain Show.
Do you believe in the concept of borders? Nation states having a border?
Right now what we have is open borders for capitalists, for CEOs.
Microphone?
We would not have open borders tomorrow, but we want a world in which all working people...
Sadiq employs the same tactic here that Romer did. This isn't going to happen tomorrow, which in effect is dodging the morality of the question at hand. Romer and Sadiq are able to sound like they're giving some ground, or at least that there's a faction to their left that they're more moderate than, but they're kind of lying more than anything else. When I did my deep dive on Nick Fuentes, when you watch clips of Richard Spencer, of people on the far right, you see the same type of thing coming up time and time again. No, we aren't going to create an ethno-state tomorrow, don't be silly. It's a way of rejecting the idea that your proposals are radical without actually explaining why the proposals themselves are not radical. But I don't want to get too caught up on this specific thing, so let's keep going a little deeper. Later in the interview, Remnick brings up the question of open borders to Romer.
This series of
tile here.
Issues. I think
That's
open borders was one. Why are you
safe
for
tile.
open borders?
All of these policy points, they're all part of this long-term goal where we are putting huge amounts of resources into alleviating poverty, into stopping destabilization of countries internationally that are causing huge migrant flow. But most people in the U.S. are here because of a prior period of unrestricted immigration or of much looser immigration. We put caps on certain countries and don't allow migration from other countries, and then kind of wide open for some countries.
I understand that, but people would argue back and say, okay, that there may be deep flaws in both the history and the system of immigration. Mm-hmm. Why not correct those flaws and make them more just, but by just throwing the gates open, whether it's the gates of prisons or the gates of immigration, that chaos will ensue. I think you probably get that argument a lot.
Sure, and we're not saying throw the gates open. We're saying let's do that. Let's look at where this system is really flawed, really problematic.
I think that's called immigration reform.
It is, but we think that you have to look at all of these things from first principles, right? We started here from first principles. So what do we want out of an immigration system? Let's start there. That doesn't mean just throwing open the borders and then building from the ground up. It means reforming the system we have while we rethink the system, while we build this new one from the ground up, and then hopefully eventually flipping the switch.
So I find that really interesting and kind of revealing at the same time. So let's go back through that and note exactly what happened in that exchange. Remnick asks Romer point blank if she favors open borders.
Why are you for open borders?
Romer initially dodges and makes some appeals to immigration reform, which Remnick correctly calls out and says, okay, that's the Democratic Party position.
Sure, and we're not saying throw the gates open. We're saying let's do that. Let's look at where this system is really flawed, really problematic.
I think that's called immigration reform.
Which Romer agrees with, but then 30 seconds later she says, eventually, yeah, I do want open borders.
While we rethink the system, while we build this new one from the ground up, and then hopefully eventually flipping the switch.
It's the same strategy again, trying to delay and obfuscate from the point that there is actual disagreement between social democrats and full-on socialists. Romer's approach in this interview is built largely on kicking the can down the road to avoid this specific conflict manifesting. Later, when she's asked about prison abolition, you get a very similar play.
What does prison abolition mean to you?
So again, let's start from first principles, right? What do we need? We need safety.
Let's not begin from first principles. Let's begin from what is to be done, to use a Leninist phrase.
No, I mean, I think you have to start from first principles, and that is the core of this. We need community safety. We need people to be safe. We need people to be able to live their lives without fear of being assaulted, without fear of being robbed, without fear of violence. What communities do we know are the safest? It's not communities with cops on every corner. It's communities that have good schools, good jobs, good park systems, good recreation for their teenagers, things like that. Those are the safe communities.
Should they be maintained?
I am not in favor of getting rid of police entirely tomorrow.
I really recommend going and watching this whole interview, because what you see over the course of it, even through Remnick's very, very light questioning, is that Romer is deeply uncomfortable just coming out and defending her positions. If you go through Hassan Piker streams, to be clear, not his mainstream media appearances, but just what he says on other socialist podcasts and on his own show, there's almost a creepy amount of talk about deception.
I think that in the short term, in order to combat against that, you have to advocate for a much lighter form of propaganda. You want America, in the way that I feel about it, and if you want America to get out of the way for places with more revolutionary potential to do what they would normally do, I think that, one thing you have to do is advocate for a lighter form, while simultaneously still doing agitated propaganda that goes beyond, social democratic ideas.
Socialists will often say that their ideas are extremely popular, but I don't think that true socialists actually believe this. They talk in terms of needing the conditions to be right for a socialist revolution to happen. That the populace needs to be aligned on a class consciousness level. And a lot of them say that workers secretly agree with them, that there's capitalist propaganda and cognitive dissonance that's stopping them from awakening to this. But I think that if they believed it was that easy to reach a consensus on something like prison abolition, or that everyone secretly wanted workers to control the means of production, or that private property should be banned, they wouldn't have such an issue defending this in front of center-left journalists. There's a reason this DSA member has an issue on Fox News coming out and saying that a child rapist should be jailed.
If my daughter is assaulted and raped, is there any agency that would seek to find her assailant and bring him to justice?
Of course, yeah, of course.
What
absolutely.
would it be if not police, and where would he be if not a jail?
So I guess I really want to avoid getting kind of caught into these hypotheticals and talk more about the reality that we're actually facing right now.
And to understand why, it's really critical that we double click on the actual belief set of the DSA. The DSA, maybe ironically or maybe fittingly, is not a
they're going to be called
organization.
camps.
Its central governing body is made up of 27 members who sit on a national political committee. These 27 members represent among them 8 different factional caucuses, all of which are socialist, but all of whom embody different extents of extremism. Lately, the national DSA platform has been circulating around the internet, and don't get me wrong, there's some really weird stuff in that too. There's stuff that's weird because it's murky and unclear, like, what exactly does it mean that you would control your own labor and see that it's going to good use? Does that mean that you determine the exact job that you'd have? What if there's disagreement between people about how much work needs to be done in one sector versus another? Who would be the arbiter of that conflict? And if arbitration is required, it seems like the premise isn't true. Not everyone gets to decide what they're going to do. Does honoring all treaties and tribal sovereignty mean the United States has to cede a massive amount of inhabited land? What would that look like?
Oh my God, it's going to require some education and political engagement.
But if it does mean that, that is just an incredibly radical position to hold. And then there's the stuff that's weird because it's genuinely sinister. Like when the DSA says that they want to eliminate the president and Supreme Court and establish an executive and judiciary that's subordinate to Congress, does that mean that any law that's passed is effectively unchallengeable? What are the implications of fully abolishing the police and prison system?
This is what discussion is for, and what negotiations
that not
and
just condemning large
horizontal talking
to be
requires. It's called
apparatus to deal with that. And if it looks
working
exactly
together
under a different name, then I don't understand why
instead
you're
of just
making a
letting
statement
rich
at all
people
about
tell you
law
what to
enforcement
do.
being gone. But despite these gaping problems that I and so many other people have with the DSA's platform, I do actually agree with about 70% of what it says. Like, I want to fund education and end funding to Israel and introduce family leave programs. I think those are all very reasonable ideas. However, as I said earlier, the DSA is a conglomerate of different caucuses. And when you go into those individual caucus platforms, that's where stuff starts to go from weird to absolutely batshit insane. The woman being interviewed earlier, Megan Romer, is a member of the Red Star Caucus. In their Points of Unity charter, which is essentially a platform, they self-describe as Marxist-Leninists. It's a lot of what you'd expect. Overly academic slop, internal divisions that they have with the DSA that they want to take the opportunity to talk about. And then there's some real windows into their core beliefs. Immediately at the beginning, Red Star defines themselves as a movement that is not reformist. They seek active revolution on a pathway to achieving communism. They state that Red Star seeks to weaken and dismantle the US empire. And in Fascinating Politics, they state, "We acknowledge that while no political project is perfect, to publicly critique a government or movement that stands in opposition to the American government is to do the US State Department's work for them, from Iran to Palestine. We are mindful that facts don't exist in a vacuum. They are used to advance a narrative, and any narrative that forwards the interests of American empire is one we shouldn't give oxygen to." That's Red Star just directly saying, yes, we will oppose the US and support whoever the US is fighting, regardless of who that is, regardless of the details of the conflict, because our axiom is being anti-American. However much you've heard before that the left hates America from your crazy conservative relatives, Red Star is just going out there and validating it. And this is who the DSA sent as their surrogate on a mainstream publication. If we go over to the Liberation Caucus, another caucus within the DSA, their points of unity are even crazier. They self-describe as Marxist-Leninist Maoist, and they tell you exactly what they mean by this. In their Towards a Party of a New Type section, they advocate for a democratic centralist system, the model of government in Lenin's USSR. Democratic centralism is a system with a one-party government that is permitted internal discussion and debate on issues, but once a decision is made, any public criticism of the government's operations will result in censorship, arrests, or death. And I'm not speculating that this could happen from democratic centralism. This was the governing model that led to the Red Terror. You can look into what the Cheka did in the USSR. In another section, the Liberation Caucus does apologia for Mao's genocide. They make absurd race war type claims about America. They whitewashed the Cultural Revolution in China, which led to millions of deaths. And as you go deeper into the literature within the caucuses that make up the DSA, the material just gets more and more bizarre. In a post titled "In Defense of Abolition" on the Red Star Caucus website, Hazel W. argues in favor of police and prison abolition. The article is dodgy and shifty, uses hyper-academic language, and it's easy to get lost in it, but I want to try to drill down for a bit exactly what is being said here. Early on, you get what is essentially an evaluation criteria for the proposal that talks about how Marxists view prisons and police as distinct from liberals. Marxists ask, what social relations produce this institution? What class function does it perform? And so on. Hazel then criticizes the use of police in modern society, how they are instruments of state power, how they exist to defend capital, as if the only crimes committed are poor people stealing bread to feed their families. But it resolves in a very weird place. A socialist society might, where absolutely necessary, separate people who are a danger to others while providing them with care. But Waquan's insistence that a penal state, as a specialized apparatus of class domination as we know it, is a permanent requirement of complex society, mistakes a historically specific institution of class rule with a universal social necessity. The capitalist state is an organ of capitalist rule, produced by class society and used by the capitalist class to maintain this domination. The police serve as one of its chief instruments. The proletarian state exists to defend the revolution against capitalist counter-revolution, while creating the material conditions for its own obsolescence. As class antagonisms are overcome, coercive institutions produced by class antagonisms lose their social basis. Some critics of abolition correctly identify this need to defend the revolution, but both fail to understand the difference in political character of coercion under socialism and fail to envision a world beyond class antagonism. This is ultimately an anti-communist perspective. If you can get through the wording that's used there and the hyper-academic tone of the article, what's really being said is that, yes, a socialist society might create the same exact structures that cause the same exact actions, use the same exact degree of violence as a capitalist society. But because it's not attached to some sort of class model, that police don't exist as emergent from a capitalist state, then now it becomes okay. And the issue with this, obviously, is that police and law enforcement exist to serve a ton of functions outside of protecting the capital class, which Hazel acknowledges in this article by saying that there are functions that would still need to be done. The implication of Hazel's argument is that any sort of state violence action is not wrong because it's done by the state or because it's violent. It's wrong because of its emergence from a capitalist origin. This is the materialist basis for a socialist abolitionism. We seek the abolition of prisons and policing as institutions of capitalist domination, while recognizing that socialism will have to solve real problems that capitalism currently purports to address through those institutions.
Video boring.
The Marxist question is not whether those problems exist, nor whether society may ever require coercive measures, but what social relations make particular forms of coercion necessary, who controls them, what class interests they serve, and how the institutions reproduce the conditions that make them necessary. It's unsettling to say the least, going deep into these platforms and finding so much of what I didn't want to find. My first familiarity with the term democratic socialism was from the Bernie Sanders campaigns. As I've mentioned on the channel before, Bernie Sanders is someone that I've looked up to for a long time. I've admired his political approach, and I agree with him on most issues. I think his economic vision is one that most closely describes how I would like to see the world be run. And I always found it infuriating that so much of the center-right, right-wing, mainstream media portrayed his views as fully socialist in some way, as post-capitalistic, as an infringement on human freedoms. Because I don't think that's true. And many have made the point that what Sanders proposed wasn't actually democratic socialism. It was a form of social democracy, similar to what you see in
Who the fuck cares?
But in this era of concept drift, the name democratic socialism has clearly become attached to much more communist foundations. You can just read through what they believe, and it's clear that these are actual socialists and actual communists. Later on in that New Yorker interview, Remnick specifically asked Romer what she thinks about the social welfare state model of Northern Europe, if she views that as a goal.
Okay, so what is the difference between democratic socialism and what exists in a lot of Europe, which I would call social democracy, which is to say a greater emphasis and maybe a higher tax rate in order to have things like what we would call Medicare for all or single payer, either free or radically less expensive higher education. And I think, and I'm going to take a wild guess here, if you were using that vocabulary instead of the socialism category, you might have more adherence.
Maybe, but the reality is that we do not think that we're not fighting for a kinder, gentler capitalism. We think that a democracy that's really controlled by the working class is the ultimate goal.
So for me, that's kind of the final nail in the coffin for this. There is a massive wave of DSA candidates that are popping up all over the country that subscribe to this platform. And I'm sure that there's many things that I agree with these people on. But the reason I'm making this video is because I think we need to have a moment of clarity here. You might agree with the DSA on many issues, and if you do, I think you should go support candidates who you agree with. But we need to understand at this moment that this is no longer a social democratic coalition on the left. There are forces that are calling for state control of the economy and violence against political actors. And they represent someone. That's where I have a disagreement with how the DSA views themselves. I do think there's a coalition
the Republicans
here,
are literally weaponizing the legal system and the police
against Americans. It's not a coincidence that Hassan Piker has so much
We should complain about this,
saying
though.
that Ukraine is in the right.
Controlled
in the war with
opposition.
Russia. And I don't think it's a coincidence that AOC is going Mitch McConnell mode when she's asked the question about Taiwan. You're seeing real people have to calculate because they know there's a base that is going to oppose the U.S. empire at any turn or want state control of the economy.
Brother
and
in
a socialist
Christ.
watching this might say I'm generalizing a lot. They might say I'm taking things out of context. So consider this an open invitation. Say what you feel in the comments, and I want to have a conversation with you.
No, you don't.
I don't know.
You literally do not want to have a conversation. I can
seem
guarantee that if I went to this guy and was like, hey, you know that you're wrong about Taiwan, right? That China is literally bullying the entire area of the South China Sea and further. Literally imperialism. I thought we were anti-imperialist.
I don't know if that's what he was saying.
The American people are
it's the same
desperate.
criticism. No, because this is how I interpreted it, right? He's talking about AOC, talking about supporting Taiwan in the event that China invades. It's no different to the position of defending Ukraine when Russia invaded. It's no fucking different. But because it's China, their ability to critique and see it
I think he's
flies
just
out the fucking window.
saying that her position is like not like she's a DSA candidate, but her position doesn't reflect what they think. I don't think he was giving his position on it.
Okay, DSA foreign policy. Let's see. DSA program. Democratic Socialists of America. Policy positions. Let's see how easy this is to find. Work at involved chapters, resources. Start a chapter note about us. Constitution, bylaws, history. Why are there no policies? Here we go. International Committee. National Labour, National Trans Rights Working Groups. What is the International Committee? Just global solidarity and anti-imperialism to fill out this application. Okay. The DSA's International Committee. I'll share this, by the way. Okay, so DSA's International Committee. Our mission. The International Committee is guided by the DSA political platform and tasked through DSA convention resolutions and the NPC, DSA's highest elected leadership body, with a mission to help the DSA and its membership connect in solidarity with like-minded activist workers, movements and parties worldwide. Within DSA membership, we hope to contribute to the international political education and support the growth of international solidarity work in local chapters across the country. We additionally aim to support national campaigns for international justice and to help provide a network of internationalism for membership across the country. Sure. International work, okay. As democratic socialists, we believe we must be an internationalist. We believe that working people around the world have more in common with each other than they do with the bosses in their own countries. True. We believe struggles ranging from peace to climate justice, from anti-racism to women's liberation, can only be won if we work together. We believe that if we are engaged in a common international struggle and are therefore concerned about what is happening to the working classes in other countries, about their human rights and workers' rights, about their struggles for democracy, for justice and socialism, we often face the same enemies. Multinational banks and corporations, as well as other financial, political and military organizations. These enemies work together across borders, and to defeat them it will be necessary for us to unite in our struggle against the multifold oppressions they commit against the poorer countries and the vast majority of people that share the planet. I grossly disagree that defending Taiwan doesn't fit the DSA's charter.
Yeah, it's just vague shit.
Like, there is no way that somebody can legitimately make the argument that defending Taiwan from an invasion from a foreign country it's completely within their platform. It's also, as you said, vague enough that they could reject it and be like, well, we're not participating because America helps Taiwan.
There's so many factions that you're not going to fucking have people agree on any hardcore policy position.
Yeah. So, like, I really don't think that if... Especially with its, like, working class in countries, human rights and workers' rights, like, I feel like the DSA wouldn't be so friendly to China. It would, if it was to take power, they would probably be pretty aggressive on worker rights inside China, I would imagine. What the fuck is going on? What the fuck is happening? Whatever.
for political independence. Large numbers on both the left and the right no longer trust the two parties. Yet influencers like those on the Deep program have spent that same crucial time period since COVID steering people back toward the Democratic
How did you
Party
manage to
through
tag the wrong thing twice?
I literally typed in the entire name and pressed 5th gen, and Twitter just didn't do it both times. I literally typed out IW.
Are we watching? Is that live? That video?
What?
Are we gonna watch Rania Khalek on with Emma and watch her completely agree with everything she says?
If I find it.
Because I know for a fact that Emma's not gonna question a fucking thing she says.
They're probably not going to talk about... They're going to talk about something that isn't, you know...
The DSA. They keep their audience hopeful that change is in the wind while discouraging the one thing that would actually matter, which is building an independent working class party. Recently, the Deep program praised the DSA's electoral wins and candidates like Zoran Mamdani. Even if it was somehow correct that Mamdani was
I retweeted a video of Mitch McConnell just sitting still in the Senate. And I'm like, when is the FDA recalling this vegetable? Yeah, big problems right now in America. Oh my god.
More progressive than someone like Marjorie
Ukraine rigged
Taylor
up a
Greene.
helicopter to
In an era
launch
where U.S.
drones from it.
imperialism is the primary contradiction, it would only be meaningful to support it from the standpoint of an already existing independent communist party, not individually. This is the core principle the Deep program abandons. Marx, Engels, and Lenin insisted that the Workers' Party must be independent, with its own goals and its own policy. It must never be the tail of the liberals or conservatives. We already know there is change in the wind. We didn't need to wait for Mamdani or DSA wins to prove it. An explosion of anti-Epstein, anti-Israel, and anti-regime sentiment has characterized the past 3 years. Why didn't the left take advantage of that to build outside the Democrats? Instead, the Deep program, Hakeem, Ugopnik, and Second Thought have inverted that principle. Their content functions to keep people emotionally invested in democratic electoral moments, while the hard work of independent organization is postponed indefinitely. In this video, we will examine their own words and show how this approach demobilizes the very audience that is looking for a real alternative.
This could go either way. This video could go either way. This could be a fascist video, or this could be a commie.
This guy is definitely gonna criticize them.
The podcast begins with Second Thought complaining about the leftist reaction to his video about Zoran Mamdani.
I put out a Mamdani update video a little while ago on Second Thought. You may have seen it. It was just, checking in on how things have been going in New York. We wrote it to be as down the middle, uninflammatory as possible to avoid pissing off certain portions of the viewership. But, of course, that did not work. The reaction was exactly what I've come to expect from the online U.S. quote left. We got the classic, which is, liberals wandering into comments to tell me I was a dangerous radical because I had the audacity to say that building more housing and making buses free is good, actually. Fine, whatever. These people are stupid. We expect that of them. I've been trying to get through them for years. That was not what annoyed me the most. What really annoyed me was the other end of the quote left spectrum. Apparently, according to a certain type of online socialist, me saying, hey, this self-professed socialist-backed administration is doing some pretty good stuff, means I've become a Democrat now. I am sheepdogging for the Democratic Party. I have abandoned the revolution.
Second Thought, apparently enraged with the audacity of his own audience to stick to Marxist-Leninist principles, calls them out, and even questions their commitment to the Marxist left-wing tradition by saying, quote, left. He even summarizes his audience's arguments against him, which by any honest metric is quite a solid argument. If you look into the comments section of his Zoran video and of his podcast, you'll find dozens, if not hundreds, of his fans rightfully calling him out for his defense
maybe
of
he shouldn't
Mamdani.
have created this
Second Thought
audience in the
also
first
said
place.
just a few weeks prior to this episode,
I can't do anything but laugh.
The DSA are carving out a space in the Democratic Party that's independent enough to win elections and maybe soon pass policies without the old capitalist guard. All this good press and electoral success is actively shifting the Overton window our way.
In the main video, we can see him repeatedly praising Mamdani's policies, while compensating for this by trying to say that while it's not enough, it's a start. We'll see him repeat this waffling argument later in the podcast. To be very clear, Lenin saw this kind of thinking as a dead end. In two tactics of social democracy, he attacked those who castrate the pressing needs of workers so that the bourgeoisie does not recoil, shifting from the ground of revolutionary struggle to the ground of bargaining with the bourgeoisie, buying the bourgeoisie's voluntary consent so that it does not recoil.
Overload.
With our betrayal of principles,
I
our
agree.
betrayal
Fuck
of the
women.
revolution. The task for
If
communists
your
is never actually to
entire
shift the Overton
purpose is
window
looking
inside
down
a
your nose
bourgeois
and talking
party.
down
Rather,
at
it is
people,
to build an
fuck
independent
yourself.
force capable of taking power. Anything less turns the working class into the tail of the liberals. Ugopnik now jumps in and backs second thought up.
I acknowledge that it's nice when working people get something, right? And I have to ask.
No, that's really good example. No. The only
Is
way
he calling
people
you
should get anything
Gopnik?
good is through revolution. So, like, if you wipe your ass and not wipe
Yeah,
your
that's his
revolutionary
name.
manner, you're being
Is it you go cheat? No.
You have to stand up on the toilet bowl while you wipe it, otherwise you're a liberal.
The party has to vote on whether you should wipe up or down.
Party line is sideways across the cheeks. Like, that's not gonna work. But,
This is a total straw man. By the way, Marx's revolutionary politics is not about good and bad. It's about objective historical development. Capitalism and reformism is objectively bound to fail. Marxism recognizes the fact that there exists irreconcilable contradictions and that these contradictions move history forward. It is a job of Marxists to understand and respond to this existence.
what are we doing here? Like, really, like this is why the online US left drives me absolutely nuts. We cannot acknowledge the tiniest improvement in anybody's life without some
You are the
friendly
online
freak showing up
left,
to
you
explain why it's actually
fucking
counter-revolutionary to be
dickhead.
happy that grandma has a roof over her head.
Another straw man. This is also a blatantly anti-Marxist position. Again, Marxism is not about whether or not someone is happy. It is about analyzing where in history we are at, and about practically responding to this history. It's not about individual happiness or these marginal gains that you claim are major victories for the working class. Marxism-Leninism is a theory of warfare, specifically class warfare.
Sure.
Right, the channel is for baby leftists, so I ban people who are detrimental to my little cultivation project. So I responded to a few comments. I said, okay, you know what? You're at least partly right. Electoral politics is not enough. That is correct. I've literally said that for years. So, what are you guys doing to help? What's your local org chapter up to these days? What campaigns are you helping with? And nothing. Nothing. Yeah, suddenly these very vocal people didn't have much to say anymore. Why?
Aren't you guys the ones with the hundreds of thousands of subscribers, thousands of Patreon supporters, and a network of influencers that are consistently listened to by millions of people?
Don't go
Why are you
to
placing blame on your own
organizations. Like, they
viewers
don't
who are in
go
no
on the
individual
ground. They don't
position to
help
organize
people in real life.
effectively at the same scale as you guys? Where is the self-criticism? It's no wonder these very vocal people don't have anything to say to you after that. They're simply astounded at the arrogance of your words.
A very problematic case of tofungism right now. It's taking up all my time. I can't. The revolution must wait.
The revolution must wait.
Hakeem got the whole squad laughing with this one. I'm not too sure why he finds this funny, considering he vocally supports revolution, but just not revolution in the United States, as he has said repeatedly in his video about Mamdani.
Future of corporate
Controlled
revolution is,
opposition.
I won't say bleak. The United States is not the place where revolution will take place. When you have a system such as the modern capitalist system, which has divided the world so starkly into the imperial periphery and the imperial core, you have more concentrated and more severe forms of class struggle taking place in the imperial periphery, where there's much more clear signs of friction and labor struggles and whatnot, which will eventually result in some sort of positive change, of course, through the tireless efforts of labor movements in these countries in the imperial periphery.
So why is Hakeem making fun of these people when he doesn't even believe revolution is possible in the United States? In fact, he's so sure of this that he encourages his viewers to simply educate and prep people instead of organizing the working class. Hakeem then goes on to say for the next minute or so that people like Second Thought are good for the movement because they quote-unquote straddle the line between revolutionary consciousness and the general masses. He equates Second Thought's content, which is more palatable for common people, at least in his view, to the way Mamdani affects politics. They go on to contrast Second Thought with Hakeem's content, joking that Hakeem's content is so radical.
God forbid any of them click on it.
Okay, bro.
Exactly right.
Yeah.
This is exactly how we need to execute.
Hey, here's some shit from like
Again,
the
this is funny to me
1920s.
because Hakeem is actually
radical,
quite tame,
bro.
even reformist in his video about Mamdani, talking about how impossible revolution is in the United
Yo,
States.
my
about how
my
workers will never
radicalism
rise up in the imperial core. So where is
is
this
looking
supposed
back in
militant
history like
radicalism?
fascists do.
Ugopnik sarcastically
I wonder why
chimes
we
in.
look like
It's as if
fascists.
there is great recruitment potential amongst reformist leftists. It's as if many of our great ideological forefathers have always claimed that there is keyword utility in, let's say, the platform that electoralism can potentially bring you. It's as if not everyone who, for example, advocates for a particular DSA candidate or one of these like entryist type of positions and so on, which I don't think most of them even are, but still, it's as if some of them might have a longer goal in mind. For example, a longer goal in mind in which, sure, if these reformists get into power and they do relatively well, relatively is again subjective, but you get what I mean, then we're going to have a bunch more baby leftists. We're going to have the American Red Scare die down because you're going to have a bunch of normies looking at somebody who calls himself a socialist.
It's a black
doing
scare.
decent stuff for his community, and therefore they will
Name
get
one
stressed out,
communist
they
that's
will
been
become,
targeted.
at least to a certain extent class conscious, and then eventually potentially possible to be radicalized further.
Hassan is
You
a
can see how
socialist.
pessimistic the deprogram really is,
And he
how
hasn't really been
depressing they are
targeted.
for their viewers. Not just because of these theoretical mistakes, but also because they honestly and fervently believe that token concessions, especially ones regarding the identity of baby leftists, are genuine victories against the imperialist state. They have the gall to place responsibility for this growth on reformists, instead of taking an objective view of the development of conditions within the United States. Regardless, all this could be forgiven if it were not for the second point he makes after this.
But to the other part as well, if these reformists all get into positions of power and they completely abandon even the reformist line, then that will be able to be utilized as well by more radical factions to exactly point out and say how reformism does not work. It's as if there's very, very real utility in, to an extent, supporting or talking about or explaining or even agitating for these particular lanes, as if it's one of the many, many hundreds of strategies that organizations and agitators and educators can follow through on when they're trying to build a larger movement. It's as if it's a multi-frontal approach. Pretty crazy, right, guys?
Is this Lenin's position? Could anyone on the deprogram point out any contextualized quote from Lenin describing his support for this phenomenon? Or was the entire point of the Bolshevik-Menshevik split over this very issue? Lenin rejected the deprogram's logic completely. The revolutionary's job is not to wait for reformists to disappoint the masses so we can later say, "We told you so." It is to raise the movement to the level of the revolutionary program now, instead of trailing behind it. Did Lenin not say that communists could agitate the masses, even in a backwards and agrarian country? Did Lenin not prove that communists could achieve power in a country that everyone assumed to be too reactionary to foment revolution in? Did Lenin not explicitly say that communists must be open about their views, not hide behind reformists and liars who spit on socialism's name, and cause the working class to lose faith in the revolutionary movement?
No, only my one particular approach, the one thing that works particularly and made me into a socialist, that's how you should agitate to every other socialist, instead of creating the vastest possible network that the right-wingers are definitely doing.
Then perhaps you need to look into the mirror and critically analyze your own networks of people.
Oh, it's independent.
Where is your organization and agitation? We're aware that Hakim and Ugopnik are not Americans.
Fuck.
However, that should not stop them from organizing
Wish I
a
had
genuine
that fucking video ready.
Marxist-Leninist organization that can effectively reach the masses.
Pause it.
Instead of lazily letting reformists...
So I was looking... So you know how whenever we do, like, a Soviet apologist, they do their fucking history lessons? And we got a history lesson from the Boy Boy video? I'm going to pull that as a separate video. I'm going to pull... Because the entire middle section is just us talking about Soviet history. It's completely irrelevant to the point of Ukraine. So I'm just going to pull that all out and upload 2 videos.
Okay.
Because we go pretty hard. It's very funny.
Institutionally backed mouthpieces do the work for them. Second Thought, on the other hand, is an American, and his connections and money could easily fund or create a revolutionary organization that could organize the working masses. But obviously, there is no such organization that they've created, despite being at the relative top of leftist YouTube for more than 5 years. 5 years they've floated on rents collected through old YouTube ad money and Patreon donations. Where are their results?
Think what kinds of messaging, dear listener, that's not listening to this, let's be real, but like the messaging you see on Second Thought, and then you think about the rest of my work. I have worked with almost every org in the States. I torpedoed my perfectly respectable infotainment show that was making me sponsor money to start making content that gets me and my family death threats. I run a show with the disembodied head of Lenin and a masked Balkan man. I got a knock on the door from the Department of Homeland Security. Does it strike you as odd that I'm so outspoken everywhere but Second Thought? Do you think that maybe I know what I'm doing?
Like, they're forgetting about the 700-page FBI file.
Yeah, 1,400 pages, thank you, as of a couple of years ago.
Yeah,
Stupid.
exactly.
Yeah.
Stupid. I'm not making the videos
The
for the guy who's read
Second
Bowling
Thought
Capital and
content
watches scheme videos and
controlled
spends weekends arguing about
opposition.
Portigo on Reddit. That person doesn't need Second Thought.
Your experience, while commendable, is historically not unique to the left, and should prove to you the necessity to organize a revolutionary vanguard of the working class. But you openly and proudly reject this role thrust upon you, instead retreating to quote-unquote straddle the line between the establishment and your real positions. Lenin was exiled from his own country. It never once dissuaded him from building a party of a new type. His own brother was executed by the Tsar. Did he give up his militancy? If you're making videos for people unaware of Marxism, why hide your real positions? The Bolsheviks never once did this.
Same thing with
They never
fascists.
watered down
Why
their
lie?
positions to supposedly appeal to the masses. They rather extracted the essence of their arguments and distilled them into language that everyday people could understand. The role of channels like Second Thought should be just that, a distillation of Marxism-Leninism in common sense language. Channels like Red God do this exceptionally well.
The channel's for babies. People are just starting to question stuff. Someone who's been told their entire life that, socialism means breadlines and dictators and whatever, and then clicks on the video because they're curious and has a nice thumbnail. That's what I'm useful for. Like, those are the people I'm talking to.
When people are angry at
And
the
then you give
system,
them shit
they're looking for
information.
concrete answers. Instead of watering down your real positions, the goal of outlets like Second Thought should be to speak to them in a language they can understand, while simultaneously providing a comprehensive and revolutionary way of understanding how to combat the system that alienates them.
Think about that person, like someone who recognizes me for Second Thought, someone who comes to my video for the very first time, and they click because they were curious, and maybe they have a small objection to the way I phrased the title or something. You watch a video and you think, huh, wow, maybe socialism isn't what I've always been told. And then you scroll down, and half the comments are liberals calling everyone literally Hitler, Stalin, Buzzel, 100 billion, shut the fuck up. But then the other half are socialists accusing each other of betraying the working class because someone said free childcare sounds like a good idea.
Your viewers are not critiquing free childcare. Your viewers are correctly pointing out your mistaken assumption that we can achieve the victory of the working class by means of reformism. Not only is this a mistake, it's also a dangerous position to have. You have given the reformists the excuse to work with the oppressive state apparatus in exchange for temporary or meager benefits, none of which address the fundamental issues with capitalism. It leaves the common viewers stranded, still working for the reformists, instead of helping them to think critically about the system they live in.
Just like at the family barbecue.
This, to me, seems ironic, considering that Hakeem and others in the deep program are more concerned with the victories of other countries' revolutions.
Cool, bye.
How does free childcare, paid for by imperialist plunder, effectively stop or even slow down imperialist wars?
If you are a newbie to all this, why would you ever want to be a part of that? It makes us look so ridiculous.
Perhaps then you should advocate and concretely prove the necessity for a revolutionary working movement, instead of backtracking your own positions to appeal to some vague idea of liberalism. Then the debate shifts from being about free childcare to whether or not America needs a revolution. This is the debate that people should be having, not over how best to split the spoils of imperialist war, but rather over the fundamental issue of imperialism itself.
Sure.
People, feel free to clip this and send it to your friends, or, you know, JT betrayed the revolution, whatever. Shut up, go organize. Anyway, rant over. The actual story, the news. So, while everyone was busy online having the same argument we've been having since 2016, Democratic Socialists have actually had some, you know, good few months electorally.
This is unintentionally a very funny soundbite. In the same paragraph as he advocates for organization, he immediately backtracks and starts talking about how great the Democratic Socialists are. Funny how he immediately rebukes the idea of organizing in the same sentence that he urges his viewers to do so.
Again, this is the last time I'm going to do it because everybody should know all the asterisks. Yes, the term Democratic Socialist is some whiny lib shit. We should not put all our hopes in American electoral politics. Think critically, right? And let's just see how we can transition these electoral milquetoast socialist baby steps into something significant.
We shouldn't place our hopes in American electoral politics? Then why are we discussing transitioning the DSA's petty so-called victories into something quote-unquote significant? This is the sort of thing we mean by ironic backsliding. The D program will stress the immediate need for people to organize, and then hastily run to the Democratic establishment as a sort of excuse for them to actually not organize in the end.
The biggest win happened in Detroit. Donovan McKinney knocked off Sri Thanedar in the Democratic primary for Michigan's 13th district. That is a huge upset. Thanedar has been one of those incumbents who's never really inspired much enthusiasm among progressives, to say the least. He had plenty of money, he had plenty of name recognition, but there was a real growing feeling that he wasn't especially connected to the district he served, which is, you know, par for the course with a lot of these establishment types. Both parties.
The district he serves is Israel, isn't it?
Yeah, well, very accurate. Yes, and that is a trend with a lot of these wins. They get a lot of pro-Israel money. But McKinney came in with support from Bernie, Rashida Tlaib, and a bunch of local organizers, which is the more important part. And one thing that stands out is that the left actually got behind one candidate this time.
This is extremely ironic given that the Democratic Socialists of America was founded by an open Zionist, and the face of this new DSA movement is someone who openly supports Israel's right to exist and who is aligned with non-AIPAC Zionist lobbies like J Street. So what exactly is standing out to you guys here? The fact that the Zionist politician is allegedly a socialist or socialist aligned? It's almost as if they don't really care if the politicians they support is a Zionist,
bro.
Like, it's just incredible. Like, you can't actually have a discussion with these fucking people, and it's like, Israel is going to exist regardless. It's not going anywhere. Unless the UN literally dissolves it and says you no longer have a state, go fuck yourself, it's literally never going to happen. The only solution is a one-state solution where they're forced into giving them one vote per person. It's the only way that this happens. Unless it's universally recognized that Palestine is a state, and then they can take Israel to the fucking ICC over genocide or whatever the fuck they need to do. But that has issues because then they have to, you know, Hamas is not going to be there anymore. They've already gone, relinquished control. What's the other group? Palestinian Authority? What the fuck are they doing?
Some old ass dude.
Fucking nothing. They're doing fucking nothing. What's Iran doing? Fucking nothing. They're not helping the Palestinians whatsoever. What's Turkey doing? Not
This
helping the
BB
fucking
motherfucker
Palestinians
blow up all my
whatsoever.
nuclear shit.
Like, it's crazy. Like, none of these fucking people, none of these states that profess to support Palestine are actually trying to help the Palestinians further their goals of not being genocided every 10 fucking years. It's been going on for 70 fucking years. They claim that they support them. Where's the fucking support? You know who supported them? I'm pretty sure it was fucking Gaddafi. I'm pretty sure Gaddafi fucking supported the PLO, didn't he?
Sure.
I'm gonna check that.
But that was different times.
Of course, but it's still, you know, actually showing support. You know, giving arms and money to an actual Palestinian organization rather than fucking Hamas.
Hezbollah was great at one point too.
Comparing Israel-Libya relations, that's not what I want. Gaddafi provided extensive military funding and equipment to PLO throughout the 70s and 80s as a part of his pan-Arab anti-Israel foreign policy. Okay, so I was correct. We need another Gaddafi, I guess. Need a return of the King of the Arabs. Because, like, realistically, if we're really talking about Iran's support of Palestine, how many Palestinians have they allowed into Iran?
I don't know.
None. Literally fucking zero. Are the people who support Iran going to talk about that? Are they going to talk about how Iran occupies both Balochistan and the Kurds? How in this war, Iran has been actively punishing the Kurds for even being like, leave us the fuck alone? You going to talk about that? Fucking anti-imperialists? Anti-imperialists who also back Russia? Anti-imperialism, huh? That's why I call them nationalists. Because they're not fucking anti-imperialist. Pathetic. Where is the actual support? Where is the PLA?
Marxists?
Where is the PLA
Where
deploying
are the
into
Marxists?
Israel? Where is the PLA deploying into West Bank to make sure that settlers don't fuck with Palestinians? Where are they? The PLA and China want to act like they're anti-Zionists now. Prove it. You're a UN Security Council. Lobby the UN. Hey, we'll send a peacekeeping force. They fuck with us, we'll fuck them up. I think the world would be pretty happy with that deal.
Or not. They only care if the politician they support aligns with their supposed worldview.
But I think the actually important part, and the thing that we can make use of going forward, if we're tactical about it, is that DSA is starting to look a hell of a lot more organized than it did just a few years ago. In the past, their strategy has been to like find one charismatic person for every election cycle and then just kind of hope for the best.
Just put their head in the sand and forget.
Yeah, exactly. But like now, they at least seem to be thinking more structurally, right? They're actually recruiting candidates, they're training volunteers, they're building campaign infrastructure that doesn't just go away after one election, and then they're carrying all that experience into the next race. So that is how political organizations are supposed to work.
But what revolutionary political organizations? Do you guys not care about those? Or is the conduct of an explicitly liberal-aligned organization what you really care about most? If you guys really did only care about a revolution in America, why should this excite you? And further, if the DSA is only a means to an end, and you expect them to collapse at some point, as Ugopnik alluded to earlier, why are you so invested in the organizational tactics of a reformist party?
Nobody should come away from this thinking that electoral politics is suddenly easy because we can just say, oh, housing is expensive and the squishy socialists will just win their elections. That is not the case. But pretending these wins don't matter, I think, is just as wrong as pretending that they solve everything. So, like, if a socialist wins office and expands public housing, that's good. If workers get better protections, that's
you should
good.
put a city right on the other side of this.
I didn't realize that the so-called Marxist-Leninists of the DEEP program had announced their conversion to economism. This is quite surprising to us. Seriously speaking, it's shocking to hear these supposed communists talking about how marginal gains for the working class represents a historic moment for the country. If that's the case, then Europe, a continent famous for being stuffed with American soldiers, must be a revolutionary place. Their welfare programs are beyond comparison. It's sad to think that Hakim in particular places so much faith in reformist parties. Contrast this with how Hakim himself once responded to Vosh all the way back in 2020.
The version of the quote he got is word for word from this article from the International Socialist Review.
Your unique unit. There's a woman in the group.
Engels advocated for voting for a workers' party, not a bourgeois democratic party. Engels says, however, our politics must be working class politics. The workers' party must never be the tail of any bourgeois party. It must be independent and have its goal and its own policy.
As Hakim himself said years ago, yes, Engels advocated voting for a workers' party, but the D program has not justified calling the DSA a working class party in any serious sense. Even if we set aside the fact that the class composition of the DSA and Zoran's voting base is heavily upper middle class and liberal, the organization disqualifies itself the moment it endorses Democratic Party candidates. By doing so, it immediately surrenders any real political independence. As Lenin put it, it tails behind the spontaneous movement. In this case, the existing tendency of many workers and progressives to vote for small welfare reforms within the Democratic Party, rather than raising that movement to the level of a revolutionary program. The DSA accepts the current, limited economic and electoral consciousness of the masses as its ceiling, and restricts its political work to what the masses are already doing, voting for Democrats. Anyone still pretending the DSA is anything other than this is confused or consciously lying. However, when faced with Vosh in a debate, he then immediately concedes his original position.
The reason why I care so much about the Democrats is twofold. The first of which being, you can put progressives forward in the Democrats, you can't really in the Republicans for a number of reasons. And secondfold, I do think that the Republicans are an existential threat to the future of the country. So I do consider it a virtue on its own just to keep Republicans from staying in office.
Yeah, perfectly. I'm actually, that's what I was hoping that you would say.
Supposedly, because of the existential threat of the Republicans, but not the Democrats, who started the war in Gaza, it's a-okay to support reformists within the Democrat establishment. Is there anything wrong with this picture? What about the...
Did you just say the Democrats started the Israeli genocide? That's quite a take. Boy.
Interest of the working class above all else.
Right.
Where in the Democratic Party are the interests of the working masses taken into account as a significant body? All we see, and in fact what the majority of Americans see, is that the Democrats will say anything to get what they want, including lying to the working people of America.
Bad answer.
In his video on Mamdani, Hakim says something similar here. Again, rebuking the quote he himself put in his video.
Thing is, the fact that he won is good in the same way that the Bernie wave was good, in that it will eventually help push people, hopefully slightly more left, or get them to read, get them to be eventually disillusioned by the nature of this reformist or electoral takes. He most likely will improve the lives of some New York citizens or Americans. I don't know if you call them New York citizens, you know what I mean. He most likely will improve the lives of some Americans.
Where is this independent party of the working class, which Engels spoke of, and that Hakim professed his belief in? It's certainly nowhere near Hakim, who, despite his theoretically based Marxist positions, clearly does not believe in the truth of Marxist theory. Let's return to the main video.
If workers get better protections, that's good. If healthcare gets expanded, that's good. Of course, those aren't the end goal. Nobody serious thinks they are, but people have this bizarre, stupid habit of talking as though improving somebody's life today somehow delays socialism. And I don't really understand that mindset. Like, do we want the little wins, or do we not? Socialism is not a poverty cult. We are not masochists who just love to lose and suffer all the time. Making people's lives better is the entire reason we're doing any of this.
Small wins are only meaningful when they are part of a national, party-directed strategy. The ultimate goal of these small wins is to eventually seize power, to prove to the working class that you are capable and ready to fight for them. You have no control over the Democrats. Them conceding to you is, from their perspective, how they contain you. It means you recognize and concede to their power. The common people are not idiots and will immediately know this power dynamic. They know who is in charge. That's why Democratic Socialists run as Democrats first, Democratic Socialists second.
If you organize around housing and then people get housing, great job, that's a win. If you organize around healthcare, people get healthcare, that's a win. You don't have to pretend otherwise because capitalism still exists. This is one area where the online discourse has just completely broken people's brains. You can support unions without believing unions alone will abolish capitalism. You can support tenant organizing without believing it'll magically create perfect little socialist housing blocks. You can even, believe it or not, tactically support electoral campaigns without believing elections are all that matter.
This all sounds great, if it were from the perspective of an independent, working class power putting pressure on the bourgeois parties. The D program is taking the perspective of an individual who seeks to satisfy their inner emotional desires for justice and externalizing it onto the outside world. Whether or not socialists should support better housing, unions, healthcare, etc., has no bearing upon individuals who are in no better position than anyone else to effectively organize and force the bourgeois institutions to concede to them power and recognition. This can only happen at scale. It requires a mass, working movement, independent of any pre-existing bourgeois party, institution, or foundation, and assumes that socialists are already working together to accomplish long-term strategic goals.
Yes, we have to be careful about it. Yes, it's a fine line to walk, but it can be done. These are not competing strategies. These are just different ways of building power, and God knows we could use some power on the left. That has always been the point.
But the DSA is already in power. They have multiple sitting members of Congress, notably the Squad, and they have a mayor in charge of the financial heart of the capitalist system. Yet, surprisingly, nothing meaningful has come out of this. Think about the conduct of the Bolsheviks within the State Duma. Every single chance they got, they were agitating openly against the bourgeois elite. They called them out for every single transgression against the working people of Russia. They boycotted votes, they walked out, and they used their position to gain real meaningful power among the Russian people. Not once did they sit on their ass waiting for victory to fall into their laps, or march around with signs all day expecting the state to concede to them. They were actively militant, unafraid of the so-called assassination ceiling, and were boldly against the existence of the bourgeois state. They did not attempt to claim ownership of the bourgeois itself. They proposed a radically new system of government that would be run by the working masses. In what way does the DSA meaningfully achieve this? Or, if you already believe that they won't achieve this, in what way are they pushing the establishment left? The past two Democratic presidential nominees were the most centrist and pro-imperial candidates that the Democrats could have fielded. And when Bernie Sanders was screwed over, did he raise the banner of rebellion against them? No. Rather, he immediately conceded and raised his vocal support for the Democrat establishment.
In the United States, this would happen, but in every other country ever where this was done, where such revolutions were successful, some measure of this was done to less or more success, but it was done because they realized that's important to do this. So that you have those, urban, slightly more comfortable people who are not on board with the whole fucking revolution thing, will at least sympathize with the movement, even if they won't actually move for the movement. You understand what I mean?
I wonder what social revolutions they're referring to here. Perhaps, once again, they mean European social democracies who, far from being revolutionary states, or even close to being revolutionary, actively support the US imperialism abroad and benefit from said imperialism. Not once has a social democratic party in Europe truly advocated and pushed for the expulsion of US troops from Europe to any sort of effectiveness. The D program then goes on to glaze more reformist electoral victories.
But DSA, for example, Abdul, who is not a DSA candidate, but who won in the Michigan Democratic primary literally 5 hours ago, was endorsed by a lot of important DSA members and so on. Managed to pretty much do, he's not a socialist, but still managed to do, is fairly speeches that genuinely and policies that genuinely help everyday regular working class people with a topic that is on the minds of so many. That is important, don't get me wrong. Currently, the prime, in my modest opinion, the prime political agenda for the American left is to decouple it from Israel as much as possible because act of genocide, motherfucker, right? Yeah. But that can also be used, that particular anti-Zionist momentum to bring forth some other policies. And not only to bring some other policies, but to restructure the way a socialist is viewed by the American people.
The D program flat out admits that they are willing to openly support non-socialists. Maybe it is because they aren't socialists themselves, but more like national socialists. But seriously, they are celebrating a non-socialist who just won a Democratic primary, meaning they're not talking about building an independent working class party. We're talking about using outrage over genocide as a marketing tool to rehabilitate quote-unquote socialism inside the Democratic Party.
Nationalist.
This is classic tailism dressed up in clever tactics to hide the fact that they don't want the working class to break from the Democrats. Are these supposed thought leaders and prominent figures in leftist discourse truly adhering to Marxism? From these statements alone, it's difficult to say that they are.
I'm more interested in the rest of this guy's stuff. He's only got...
There's a material basis for the genuine revival of an independent left-wing third party in America today. The objective conditions such as deepening inequality.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Whoa. Oh. I just got a report back on that video.
Oh.
I must have accidentally clicked the report history. So I was trying to subscribe to this guy. I was like, no, I don't want to report him.
Lenin saved Russia. I mean, an argument could be made.
I'm all for it. What a great channel I found.
My face twitching isn't for you during this video.
It's Dreg.
The spy lady is here.
fire lady.
Yeah.
Hello, everybody. I'm
Oh, the
currently
Chinese one.
recovering from some bad pink eye that I had last week, so hopefully my face twitching isn't too distracting for you during this video. If I had to pick a word of the year for 2026, it would be stochastic. This is a fun new word that's entered the cultural lexicon recently. And basically, the word stochastic refers to graphs and charts like this one that can be modeled off of any kind of random distribution noise pattern. You've probably mostly heard the word stochastic used to refer to LLMs. They're called stochastic parrots when someone thinks that there's no real intelligence or consciousness going on there. It's basically just a next word predictor, and it's being fed on so much data that it has the ability to properly just spit out thoughtlessly the next word almost randomly. But it's also used to refer to another very hot term right now, and that term is, brace yourselves, stochastic terrorism. Now look, I know that an LLM is currently reading the transcript of this video trying to decide whether or not it should demonetize me or take this video down. Don't worry, LLM, okay, this is a very serious top-down cultural analysis of stochastic terrorism with the goal of rebutting its causes and analyzing where it's coming from, all right? It's not seeking to glorify stochastic terrorism in
I
any
obviously
way. Thought twice about making a video on the subject. It's very
Oh, it
edgy,
immediately
very
devolved.
Kind of a dangerous thing to talk about. But I also think that if we're incapable of having conversations like this, we're kind of cooked.
Like,
right?
as soon as the
we need to be
Vanguard
able to
takes over and
diagnose
replaces,
the issue and figure out what to do about it.
it's
And to
over.
do that, we have to be able to talk about it. So that's why I'm doing this, Mr. YouTube AI. Please spare this video. I have a vested interest in combating this, both morally, but also just sort of logistically, because I'm a political commentator and I make jokes and I don't want people misunderstanding me. So what is stochastic terrorism? Well, it's basically a kind of terrorism that can only exist through mass media channels. Used to be. If you wanted to do a violent act of terror, the person who wanted to do it would have to believe in those things and sort of, you know, if you want it done right, you got to do it yourself. Stochastic terrorism has technically been around since we've had mass media. But because of the internet and because we're all carrying around a mass media machine in our pockets at all times, all of us can be both the distributors of stochastic terroristic messages and also the receivers of those messages that we might possibly act upon in a poor mental state or at a point of high peak political radicalization. The stochastic element here is coming from the fact that if I have an audience, let's say me, of, I don't know, like 500,000 people, and I only hit 0.001% of them with my message, I'm still getting a pretty sizable number of people to do terrorism. So that's why I think this is such an important topic to talk about. It's really scary. You know, we all could be susceptible to these messages and we could all spread them now. All it takes is a relatively small audience, and you can do some real damage. We can psychoanalyze why someone would want to do stochastic terrorism. I mean, you know, maybe they don't want to do it themselves. Maybe they're too much of a coward to do it themselves. Or maybe they have too much to lose now. Or maybe they would prefer to just sort of abstractly talk about the issues instead of doing anything about them, doing what needs to be done. But for whatever reason, all the stochastic terrorist has to do is say something like, do it. Do it now. That's just an example. Stochastic terrorists might also promise their audience that they'll be hailed as a hero, that they'll get a bunch of women to love them, that I'll love them. And that's the problem, is that they, you know, everyone would love them. They would become immediately a folk hero, because we have a sort of a sick culture that celebrates this kind of stuff. But stochastic terrorism isn't just dangerous for people who have audiences, it's also dangerous due to the decentralized nature of the terror. There is no leader you can take down to stop the terror. It's decentralized in pockets. And sometimes these groups, they form splinter cells and sects within sects within sects, funneling people through a pattern of radicalization that ends in violence. In this way, the terror and the groups that perpetrate this terror become what could be called egregores. It's a sort of a thought form
Interlinked.
that contains within it desire and will, even though there's nobody puppeting it. There's no one in charge of the egregore. It's almost got an energy of its own, like a pantheistic god. And I do think that these nihilist terror Discord groups, like, I don't know, like Order of the Seven Angels or whatever they're called, they are probably the best examples of this, because the kind of nihilistic violence that occurs is like politically flavored, but is also completely politically incoherent. It's a real kind of nihilism. I don't think people fully grasp this yet. I think when one of these attacks happen, if it's a leftist, and the right-wingers say, well, of course, the left is their true violent people. And when it happens on the right, obviously the left says, well, look, this is an example of white supremacy causing violence. But what happens more often than not these days is something like a trans shooter gets arrested, right? And then the right's like, well, you see, the left was the real violent people. And then it turns out the trans shooter's manifesto was more racist than the most stone-cold incel groiper you could ever imagine.
True.
And I feel like I kind of got to belabor this point. So, like, Tyler Robinson. And for some reason, by the way, Turkey Tom has literally the best reporting on the fucking internet about Tyler Robinson. But if you look at this reporting, you'll see this really wasn't that political. This was a guy who was in the midst of a manic episode, wasn't even that progressive, was like saying the N-word in their Discord chats. This kind of violence was a lot closer to the shooter of Donald Trump's ear, who looked up. I need to bring this up more because this is crazy. Looked up the biggest name that he could kill. So he would have shot Biden if Biden was in the area. Trump was just more convenient. So why is this happening? What's going on? Well, time for that book that I definitely read. In Anton Yeager's Hyperpolitics, he creates this quad. On the top of the quad, there's high political mobility, high political levers. Political will is easily channeled into institutions. And at the bottom...
Hey, this looks like a chart we can use for a terrorism list.
Save that shit. I love roads.
I've been stuck figuring out what to do.
All over it now.
Pretend you invented. I mean, I will, but I'm going to modify it anyway.
I am the Inca. I must build Machu Picchu. Very important.
He creates this quad. On the top of the quad, there's high political mobility, high political levers. Political will is easily channeled into institutions. And at the bottom, low political levers. It's difficult to do anything about any. On the left, we have high polarization, high politicization. And on the right, we have low politicization. So basically, Yeager's point is that we are coming from a period of post-politics on the bottom right, a period of low politicization and low political levers. Nothing works. We don't really want anything to work. We don't really care. And everyone just sort of takes their hands off the wheel and lives their life. You can do this when the economy is working. You can do this when your job's not getting replaced by a robot. You can do this when you're not in 5 perpetual wars. But as the system gets more decaying and fetid, then you reach a point of high polarization. And so now we're living in the era of hyperpolitics. This is the sort of fundamental divide. We're living in a time of low political levers. There's just not a lot we can do with our political energy right now. But it depends how much we want to get politicized, and then how much impotent rage we're building up inside of ourselves that needs a place to go, but then has no place to go. This is the era of hyperpolitics. Now, I should say I might be misunderstanding this because I didn't actually read the book. I'm talking like this so people can't understand me. I'm only doing this to kind of ask my interests. So why are we going from a period of post-politics to a period of hyper-politics where everyone's got wacky, strong political ideas and things that they'd like to see changed in society? I mean, it could be because we took a whole generation of people, cut them off from their communities, put them in a box, fed them an endless stream of radicalizing propaganda as entertainment, and then gave them no ability to actually impact the world around them with that radicalization. But why does it matter? Why do I care about stochastic terrorism? I care because it has implications on freedom of expression. Your freedom of expression, my freedom of expression, everybody's freedom of expression is at risk when the government starts threatening to crack down on the stochastic terrorists. If governments decide that polemical language or a bad joke or sloppy word choice or a genuine call to action is something worthy of cracking down on, that threatens all of us. You might not agree or like someone like Nick Fuentes or Hassan Piker, people on the margins, on the extremes who, you know, it could be argued that they're using their language in some cases somewhat inappropriately, that someone might take the wrong way, that someone might do actions with that knowledge. We don't want these people being blamed for that, because then we'd all be blamed for any kind of sloppy word choice that we have for someone else's actions. And we want to live in an individualistic society where
literally
people
had
are
9
responsible
turns
for their own actions. I want to live in a world where Nick Fuentes and Hassan Piker have the right to just say, do it.
No, it's not, because I haven't chopped anything.
I think we can all agree that political commentators, big and small, deserve not to be on the hook for the actions of some random schizophrenic in their audience that misunderstood their joke. This is a free speech issue. But the only way to deal with bad freedom of expression is with cultural change, not with authoritarian government crackdowns. If we want to enjoy the free speech rights that we have, we can't put someone at fault for saying a harmless string of words like, I've got a USB. I've got a USB, I'll give it to you if you find me in person. I'm not going to put it online, obviously, but if you see me in person, I'll give you the USB. I copied a jailbreak proc prompt that has 35 people, and anyone from any different political perspective could probably find someone on there, along with their address and their sort of general schedule. Hey guys, I just want to break character here and say, for real though, for real, I don't endorse violence of any kind. I don't think that any of this is appropriate to run with. So I'm just sort of illustrating the point. I know it's kind of confusing, and I've got sort of like a facial twitch right now, but I don't know what the point of doing this was. But seriously, we like to have fun here, okay? We like to have fun on this channel. But every human being has the spark of the divine within them, and it doesn't matter how much you personally don't like these people. No human being deserves to get what's coming to them. So here's a proposed solution instead. 1, be on the lookout for people using stochastic terrorist language. This includes stuff like rip out the parasites, do it now. Do it now, do it now, I'm serious, before they make it so that you can't do it anymore. Time is actually of the essence. This is probably the only thing of value you can do with your short, sad life. I can't do it anymore, I'm a YouTuber, I've got stuff to lose. And who could forget Allahu Akbar? The worst of them. But more importantly, the era of hyperpolitics only goes in 3 directions. 1, we return back to post-politics. We say, hey, I don't want to deal with this anymore. I'm going to stop being radical and I'm just going to live my life. This changes nothing, and it can only really work when the society around you isn't crumbling into dust. The other way is the way that we're seeing now, where we have this impotent rage channeled into blind nihilistic violence. And that's just not doing anything. It's only making the problem worse. It's making the government crack down on your tribe. It's making everybody dislike your tribe. It's not helping anything. It's not changing the institutions. Nihilistic acts of political violence do nothing but cause further crackdowns on your tribe and fundamentally change nothing. The only solution out of hyperpolitics is to demand that the levers of politics are handed over to the people who have the political desire to do something about it. We can move out of the era of hyperpolitics and into the era of mass politics, where there's high political will and also the political levers in order to enact that will. In the era of hyperpolitics, it can seem like we're all very disparate, and no one can agree on anything, everyone's radicalized in different ways and has incompatible political views, but we all believe in something, and we all are highly radicalized and have this impotent rage that wants to go somewhere. And so hopefully we can all come together against these stochastic terrorists and political actors who only seek to reify the status quo and cause more blind political violence. Wait, why did I wink there? I meant that. Oh, my face actually is twitching. Huh. Yeah, the winks were meaningless.
Weird video.
Take on Wilson debate moderated by TBD. The overall consensus.
What'd you say?
Weird video.
I mean, it's Greg.
Yeah.
It seems to be that Candace won decisively and humiliated Wilson.
Well, over on the discourse with Brandon, I have multiple videos because the chat demanded that we watch it. And so we watched it, and then we watched the breakdowns from both Andrew Wilson and Candace. My takeaway is that she did beat him. And I think he fell into a lot of traps that a lot of people fall into when they debate conspiracy theorists. The primary one is just imagining that because you find yourself to be right, that you don't have to prepare. You don't have to know any of the little details about it because you're just like right. And that'll get you over. And like, that doesn't work.
It also doesn't help that he is the rare individual who's actually more gross than Candace Owens.
I don't know anything about this guy.
Do you want to see Hassan Piker? Yeah, you don't remember him, the pickle jar guy. This is you remember him? Yeah.
Yes.
So here's Steven Crowder watching Hassan take a victory lap and realizing like everything is going badly for conservatives, which is a little bit funny.
They see as one being a useful tool. Here is
maybe you shouldn't have made a video saying
communist
we need
Hassan
fascism.
Piker saying the quiet part out loud.
I want to be logical. I want to be rational about this case. But then on the other hand, I'm thinking to myself, I can't speak out against this queen. I mean, I can't speak out against this queen because this is a queen that successfully and single-handedly undermined the Republican initiative to martyrize Charlie Kirk and use that example to crack down on political dissent. She dropped a grenade on the discourse. So I'm with her. It's hard. It's hard for me. My brain says, no, it's probably Tyler Robinson. But my heart says, go, Candace, go. Keep cooking. You know? Does that make sense?
Can I?
By the way, I'm not.
Pause for a sec to
It
say.
makes a lot of sense. It makes a ton of sense.
I totally agree with Hassan. I mean, she did a lot of work on behalf of the forces of good in her fight against the forces of evil. She may not get to it in the right way, and she may be motivated by the forces of evil herself, but yet we cannot deny the results.
It's like multiplying a negative by a negative.
Yeah, and the results have been that Erica Kirk and her crazy eyes have become a meme, and that their effort to deify Charlie Kirk for like a white supremacist national project for the youth has been derailed by that glorious psycho Candace Owens.
My enemy's enemy is not my friend, but for right now, they're also not my enemy.
Yes.
I mean, you can't deny.
Yeah.
You can't deny that she captured the spirit of the moment. Like, you can't say that Candace Owens, and I guess she even made this argument in the debate, that she made people think that Erica's response was suspicious. I think a lot of people felt that way. And Candace, you know, much like Tucker Carlson, she just saw which way the wind was blowing. And the wind was very much blowing in the direction of like, things aren't adding up. And you know what? She's going to take that wind and put it in her sail and take it all the way to the top, it seems like.
I mean, she brought out a leaf blower, honestly. It just made things go nuts.
No, but I know. You know?
Of course.
You know.
I don't know, but I know.
I forgot there was another leg to that.
I do think that they should stop feeding her chumps, though. TPUSA should absolutely stop like trying to feed her chumps like this guy, because it just makes her more powerful.
I mean,
to,
that's
like,
the amazing
seemingly
thing.
put up against somebody and win.
That's the amazing thing about this is Andrew Wilson is somebody who we've talked about the pickle jar thing because it was funny and the crash. Oh, that's right. He couldn't open a pickle jar. You know that
video?
It was embarrassing. It was funny to laugh at a freak like that. But
Andrew Wilson?
Yeah.
Yes, I do know about that.
And then he's like blames the woman, saying, "You made it greasy."
Yeah. And he gives
As
it
a
to another
producer,
guy and
he's
he
sort of
opens it.
beneath notice on this show. Like, even though he's on Rogan, it's like some people on the right are trying to make Andrew Wilson happen. But I think this Candace Owens thing is where he put up, what was it, $300,000?
So there's a little bit of a controversy behind that. First of all, that money was GoFunded. So he's GoFunding that money from the people who wanted him to debate Candace. But apparently he had, and this came out during the debate, this closed door meeting with TPUSA. And Candace thinks that they brought him as a ringer because he was supposedly the new debate instructor at TP. Yeah, can you believe it?
He's the ringer?
Yeah, he's the new debate instructor that they brought in to teach, I guess, young kids how to debate in the absence
Declare
of Charlie
friendship
Kirk.
with China
Now, I mean,
whenever you
want
can,
about Charlie,
because she'll
about the proportions
use
of
spies
the features
against
of
you
his
if you
face
don't.
to the surface area of his face. But I don't think that he would have done as bad in that debate as this guy did. So, I mean, who knows where that money really came from. I think it's a bad idea to give it to her.
All right, I'm going to trust my friends in the government.
Let's see what Crowder says here, because he's one of the people that missed the Tucker and Candace boat on Israel and on the Charlie Kirk stuff. He's still clinging to the old Republican benefactors.
The very first video on Steven Crowder's channel, you can look it up, sort by oldest to newest, is him talking about Barack Obama, and at one point he says Obama's not going to support Israel enough, and says "Go Team Israel." Well,
I do have to admire Crowder's restraint here, because Hassan did appear on camera, and as of right now, I haven't seen him pull out his testicles in an attempt to teabag his monitor.
Well, we'll see.
Oh, it's probably Tyler Robinson, but my heart says, go, Candace, go. Keep cooking. You know? Does that make sense?
And by the way, I'm not making the logical fallacy.
Andrew Wilson is
well, Hitler
probably
liked
the
sandwiches,
worst
and if you like
debater
sandwiches, therefore you're
I have
Hitler.
seen in a
What
long
I'm trying
time.
to communicate to you is that this is exactly what the left wants. They've been clear about it. They will put momentum and finances behind it, and then ask yourself logically, would the left like to see the right fractured, and would they like to see people on the right who claim to be on the right character assassinate everyone else of note on the right? The answer is yes. Also, as a side note, that's Hassan Piker, and he's into fashion. He has like $600 glasses.
Okay, I knew it.
So,
when was it gonna get horny? I knew it was gonna get horny. You closet case. I knew it.
Case.
Have you noticed how puffy he looks recently?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's Botox and filler.
Speaking of that, though,
Breast implants.
There's a little behind the scenes lore that I learned from watching Candace's video about this that involves Steven Crowder directly. So Steven Crowder has been doing these, I guess, breakdown videos with everyone who loses debates on the right recently, Tim Pool, Andrew Wilson. But when it came to actually executing the Candace debate, there was a lot of unnecessary subterfuge on the part of the TPUSA Andrew Wilson side that included sneaking as part of the Andrew Wilson entourage that went over to Candace's house for the debate, a member of the Steven Crowder crew. And this is according to Candace, so you have to take it with a grain of salt, whose name is Gerard or something. I don't know if he's had Steven's testicles on his shoulder or on his forehead or any part of his body, but he works for Steven, so I can only assume that's probably somehow
He wants to give me one goal for open borders, but wants 22
He was
from
doing
me.
a live stream, according to Candace, from outside of her kid's bedroom to kind of try to own her.
Tell him no.
Because there's beef between Candace and Steven. Because Candace has never liked Steven, and someone in my mention said it's because Steven might have hit on Candace a long time ago, and Candace turned him down, and so there's been a lot of bad blood from that angle for a really long time, which I don't know if I can verify, but I did want to say it since we were just talking about this whole debacle, because he does dislike her a lot, and it seems beyond just the normal amount for political disagreements.
Yeah.
Candace, if you're watching, maybe you could clear this up for us. After all, she's the newest benefactor from the moneyed left, as we all know.
The moneyed left.
I can tell you right now, the left is definitely not funding Candace Owens, because the left can't even fund the left. What are these guys talking about?
Do we have more from Crowder here?
It's just him complaining that Hassan wears watches.
I'm reading the
jewelry and
transcript
stuff.
as you scroll through it, and it appears to be multiple minutes of him fixating on Hassan's.
Yeah, they're still talking about watches 2 minutes later. Okay, a nice suit. He does compliment his suit here. Oh, that's a joke. I'm not sure. So they're still talking about fashion here. So they don't get to
Anything substantial?
Anything substantial at all.
Okay. Well,
Speaking of,
says a lot actually, but not saying anything.
Hey folks, don't forget to hit the subscribe button.
And check out that Daily Show. We even take phone calls.
Let me make it simpler for you, Tim. You pick the spot, you get a ring and a stick. I'm an older man than you. Let's have a boxing match, bare knuckles. You're a big man. You can wear your beanie. Ring. Alex Jones is a big talker. Because I'm going to knock your ass out and fold you up like a beach chair in about 30 seconds. I want you in the ring with me, and you are going to be victorious because you've got that magical beanie. And so now I put the calls in to find out exactly what's going on with you, pal. So you keep being arrogant, you wear your little beanie because you got that magical beanie. I'll get in the ring with you in Thailand. You could have a sword and an axe. Oh, I guarantee you lose that way. Because I don't even turn on my juice till I'm facing a real threat. You can be a real boy.
Potentially invade
You
me.
can get in the ring with Alex Jones and prove your power. In fact, you don't need a battle axe. You can have a skateboard try to beat me over the head with it.
Oh my God, praise God. Praise God, and
God bless you.
This might be my new favorite video of all time. The great...
I like men, not women.
Shout out to Rivi for that beautiful drop on the what is it? The community. In this corner, the Goliath of...
Got your ass!
Woo! And in this corner, the Sultan of...
Smells are racist, and you're racist for smelling people.
Okay, so that is a call to arms.
That is a call to arms from one warrior to another. I want you, Pooh. I want to get you to get in the ring with your little beanie. I want to give you a little kiss, Tim Pool.
You can be a real boy.
Tim Pool, do you accept such challenges from this guy right here?
I like women, not men.
Sending all my
Women are
bros.
throwing themselves at me.
Or are you going to do just one of these?
Well, see, Alex is doing the grift game. That's just it. And look, he's saying he wants to have a bare knuckle boxing match. This is not real, right? Alex is just trying to fight me. Because he knows there's not going to be a fight, and he knows it's sensational. He made a video where there's lightning striking behind him, and he's like,
some
I'm
kind
gonna
of
take you
pussy?
down. Oh, baby, that's not what I fight. And then people like the entertainment. They like watching Alex rip his shirt off.
Okay, so I would like to be the Joe Rogan of this fight. You know, with a little shirt, ill-fitting shirt. You know, I'm all squeezed into it like a little sausage. Little sweaty sausage, you know?
Little sweaty sausage, you know?
Like that. But it does sound to me, as the Joe Rogan play-by-play guy of this fight, that Tim Pool is being a wiener.
He is a chickening out.
Like a little wiener. Like a little baby in a wiener.
Everybody is fake, and they're all lying, and it's all fake and gay. That's
psychological warfare.
Shut up,
just
Moon
people
Dog.
getting clicks.
Hey,
They don't
stay
care-
out of
they
this.
don't care about what's true or
Stay
not.
out of this, Moonston.
Yeah, what did you get away from the Jubilee event?
It was interesting. I think that, like, when you say you're a moderate, is that, like, in the literal sense or in, like, Trump's going to win by, like, 49 state landslide sense?
Right.
Like, which one?
Good question.
So what do you mean by his Trump? Like
I'm just trying to understand,
What do you
like,
mean
the
by that,
language
man?
of Tim Cass.
What do you
I
mean,
know
Give me
man?
the context.
Okay, man, before we get to the
battle of the century.
I want you, Pool. Get in the ring with me, Pool. I want to give you one of these right here. Before we get to that, the title card, the match to end all matches, the rumble in the toilet. I want to take a look at my favorite content creator of all time, Timmy T, the little Timmy TT. Ooh, in this corner, little Timmy make pee-pee. He seems to be like losing his mind. He's just like, I mean, this poor guy. Honestly, we're in Pobrecito territory. This is a straight up Pobrecito at this time. I mean, this is a person who is not like an adult, you know? And I think at this point he's just like forgetting which lies he's told and just trying to lie his way out of this and that and every which way. This right here, before we get into the title card, this is probably one of my new favorite Timmy TT moments. Check this out. This is amazing. He's the greatest.
Like, when you say you're a moderate, is that, like, in the literal sense or in, like, Trump's going to win by, like, 49 state landslide sense?
Neither.
Like, which one?
So what do you mean by his Trump? Like
I'm just trying to understand, like, the language of Tim Cass. I know.
Can you give me the context on the 49 state landslide? What does
Yeah,
it
didn't
mean?
you say, like, Donald Trump's going to win by 49 state landslide?
No.
Which I could say is, like, an
Yes, he did.
exaggeration.
I never said that.
Never?
No.
Interesting.
See, this is the funny thing about the world you live in.
I love the clip that I saw.
You want to know what I said?
Okay.
If Trump brought Andrew Yang as economic advisor and Tulsi Gabbard as national security advisor and then legalized pot and pardoned everybody for marijuana, he's going to win a 49 state landslide.
Yeah, whoa. I thought you never said that. Hold on. Whoa, wait. Whoa.
I never said that.
Never?
No.
Interesting.
See, this is the funny thing. And then the people you watch cut out the insane hypothetical of how to actually win the American people over, like legalizing pot,
Gotcha.
and then run a clip you see, and you go, Tim thinks he's going to win. And then I said something like, Moody's Analytics put out a chart claiming Trump would win a 49-state landslide. Wow, that's crazy.
Come on,
and
man.
then they run those clips, and you go.
My boys are on the way.
So my poor little man, the little Timmy Titi here, seems to be having some kind of a crisis, psychological maybe. This is from a day ago. He has on the Jubilee dude, who seems very nice. Like he's not like trying to get Timmy Titi's little butt too hard or anything. I think he's like, let me look at the numbers here on Timmy, and less people are watching this. I don't really need to. I'm just gonna have like a good time with this. But he's like, hey, Timmy Titi, what was this thing you were saying? Somebody kept saying 49 state landslide, if people were sharing this. What was up with that? This is like watching a child try to lie. I never said that. Then the Moondog, oh, let me look this up. Oh, no, I did say that, but I was joking or something.
Moondog.
And then he comes to the final attempt at a lie. Oh, no, I was looking at a chart from something called Moody's. I looked up this Moody's analytic thing. If Tim could provide a source on that, that would be great. Because it doesn't seem to exist, what he's talking about.
Can you give me the context on the 49-state landslide?
Yeah, didn't you say like Donald Trump's going to win by a 49-state landslide?
No.
Which I could say is like an exaggeration.
I never said that.
Never?
No.
Interesting.
See, this is the funny thing about the world you live in.
Okay, this little TT from 6 years ago. Look at these numbers, by the way. Almost 400,000 views on this. By the way, just to make sure that I wasn't missing any context, I watched this whole video. I would actually recommend watching this video. It's very funny. BLM leftists march in local neighborhood, demand white people give up their homes, and on and on and on. Please go watch this. It's very funny. Oh, there's a relevant part of this. Okay, sorry.
Biden's not campaigning.
He's not?
I think Kamala and Biden might be throwaway candidates. They know they're going to get steamrolled in the election. And we may see a 49-state landslide. Maybe a 50-state landslide. That'd be amazing. I don't think that's ever happened before. I'm not entirely sure. I mean, I guess technically George Washington, but there weren't 50 states, but a total state landslide.
Right.
Just because everybody was like, all right, you do it, right?
Where are you going?
I don't know exactly what we'll see.
Okay.
Part of me is still worried that the Democrats will win.
Right.
Because I don't trust the system. And I think the establishment plays dirty games.
Right, like cheating, right?
But all of this stuff.
Got it. I mean, what even is that lie? It's like little kid lying. I never said that. Never said that. How would an adult lie about this? You'd be like, look, I was recording a lot of stuff. Maybe I got carried away. I don't know. I'd take it back. Or something. Who knows? But just like, no, I never said that. Actually, no, okay. Then somebody starts looking up. I did say that, but it was like a kind of a goof. Somebody keeps looking up. Okay, I did say that, but it was a response to something that doesn't exist.
Can you give me the context on the 49-state landslide?
Yeah, didn't you say like Donald Trump's going to win by a 49-state landslide?
No, I did not.
Which I could say is like an exaggeration.
I never said that.
Never?
No.
Interesting.
See, this is the funny thing about the world you live in.
I'd love to see the clip that I saw.
You want to know what I said?
Okay.
If Trump brought Andrew Yang as economic advisor and Tulsi Gabbard as national security advisor and then legalized pot and pardoned everybody for marijuana, he's going to win a 49-state landslide.
Oh,
and right.
And then the people you watch cut out the insane hypothetical of how to actually win the American people over, like legalizing pot, and then run a clip you see and you go, Tim thinks he's going to win. And then I said something like, Moody's Analytics put out a chart claiming Trump would win a 49-state landslide. Wow, that's crazy.
They did not.
And then they run those clips and you go, I can't believe Tim would say that.
But
and
I
then
just don't think that you believe that, right?
And
Do
then,
you actually believe that?
That Trump would win a 49-state landslide? Of course not.
Right.
But when I'm reading...
When you bring up something, you're like, wow, that's crazy.
So,
to your
so
audience
if I'm,
of 12 million people, you don't think people are going to walk away thinking that?
No, I think liberals are liars for clicks.
Gotcha.
And then people like you don't look into it. So when
I'm asking questions, Tim. I don't.
That's fine. But I'm making the same point.
I like Tim Pool's assistant, Tim Pool's employee. He's like, oh, this guy's just asked questions. Oh, just asking questions, huh, man? Oh, okay, man.
Probably
this is hardcore Phil, the hardcore singer Phil. Oh, just asking questions, huh, man? What about this? You want to ask this
3
question?
points.
He turns into Alex Jones. You want to ask this? Here's a question. You want to know what the answer is? It goes like this. Oh, just asking questions, man. Well, I got an answer for you. It's like this.
Boom, 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 boom.
Oh, just asking questions, huh? Well, how about this for an answer?
That's so funny to be like, stop asking my boss questions. Stop making my boss look like an idiot. He is, but please, don't do that. I honestly do feel sorry for him. I mean, to just somebody from Jubilee, you know, you invite them to come on the studio, and he basically says, "Hey, did you say this?" And you have this level of a meltdown. No, I never said that, actually. Okay, yes, I did say it, but a different. No, I didn't. I said it again, but a different. Wait, I thought you said you didn't say it. I didn't say it, but I both didn't ever said that, and I did in different ways. Two different ways I can think of.
This is, I got the exact quote.
You don't have the exact quote because there's like 78,000 of them.
Well, this is the...
Okay, I got the exact quote. You do not. What do you mean?
And then what happens is liberals take it and they run with it.
Exactly.
This is, I got the exact quote.
You don't have the exact quote because there's like 78,000 of them.
Well, this is the first one. You said Kamala Harris has been chosen, according to ChatGPT, has been chosen to be vice presidential running mate for Joe Biden in the 2020 election cycle. And I'm sure most of you have already heard by now because the internet can't stop laughing. But the choice may be a gift to Donald Trump of a massive 49-state landslide. Now, you're probably saying, Tim, by what metric could you even possibly predict a Trump getting a 49-state landslide? And it's actually a good point. There's no real hard data. What I'm actually talking about is the weird ways in which history seems to be repeating itself. From what I can take, that wasn't a claim that there will be a 49.
And there's also another important point, that 49-state landslide is a meme. It doesn't actually mean 49-state landslide. It was a meme at the time of...
Right. I love this because, like, no adult would do this. Like, no mentally well, healthy adult would do this, or just somebody who's not in arrested development would do this. I never said that. Like, just in, like, 2 minutes, we went into, like, 4 different lies. I never said that. I never said that. That's crazy. Okay, I did say that, but it was of a hypothetical thing. No. I was reacting to a different thing that said that. That doesn't exist. Then Moondog reads a thing. That is a joke. It's actually a joke. Okay, which one is it, man? So no adult would do this, but even if an adult did, for some reason, you know, they're like a rat in a cage, just trying to lie their way out. I didn't. You would take down your channel afterwards. Okay, I look like a little baby there. I'd take down the channel. I'll do something else. I'll work on a farm or something, because it's not going great for me anymore. I can't keep taking old money from old people and having a meltdown and lying, telling like 6 different lies in 2 minutes. It's not good anymore. Okay, this is kind of funny, the Jubilee guy's reaction to all this.
Literal projection of exactly 49 states.
Because 49, it's a reference to Reagan.
Hyperbole.
Okay,
Ronald Reagan got a
for that one. For you being a moderate, though, like what would you say are some like good attributes of the left?
This does seem a little too much for Timmy. We should create like the Timmy TT like arts program or something where he could go, you know, figure out something else to do. But I like this guy. He's like, okay, I think that's enough of that. He's just watching this guy cycle through lies. Okay, I think that's enough. Even this guy, he's not like Mehdi Hassaning him like, oh man. So you admit you just got owned on that, or you admit your little narrow butt just got owned. None of that. He's just like, okay, no fish. Like, I'm not gonna just let this guy. It's kind of nice, honestly. You know what? Props to that guy. Okay, I think that this is starting to get kind of disturbing, actually. So, what would you say? I think at that point, I would have just asked him, like, totally unrelated. So, you got a guitar back there. What's that? You
no,
try off
I
in
have
your
a
practice,
trader
man? Does
that I
Phil
already
play
have.
with you? Does he play bass? Or what's that? How about that? Let's talk about something else. How about that? You know what? I want to go back to this very high-viewed Timmy TT from 6 years ago. 392,000 views. I mean, this whole video... It was making me laugh the whole time. He's just terrified. There's protest happening hundreds of miles away from him. Oh, he's so scared. Maybe this is why he doesn't want to get into the ring with Alex. This is when you get in the ring with me, Pooh. I'm going to give you one of these. Well, and 3 of these.
I like women, not men.
Maybe this is why he's too scared. He's just scared of everything.
The street and torched it. So that's something else. It's literally The Dark Knight. You ever see The Dark Knight? The Batman movie?
I don't know what that is.
There's that scene where Michael Caine...
Real deep cultural references here.
And that's basically what's happening in Portland.
Teddy chose me.
Batman.
There's a viral tweet going around
Batman's basically
from one of these
very good.
extremists.
Okay, so remember, this is Timmy TT talking to a largely probably older viewership who lives nowhere near cities where protests were happening 6 years ago. There's some good info here. Here we go.
Subscribe You can follow my main channel at timcast.net, but I am telling
That's
you,
the main
people
thing.
need to know that it is only a matter of time before they follow through on their threats and they make people give up their homes. They will come to your house, they will throw you out, and they will laugh about it. And they won't.
Very good video, man.
I was going to drop the Tim Pool thing
Right.
until I saw this clip. And now the new statements he's put out. Here's an overhead shot. 300,000, Alex. I hear that's the going rate.
Get the overhead shot. There we go.
So
Jeez.
because they charged the Andrew Wilson guy to go
Right.
with Candace, he
Boom.
says, hey, I'm the superior. It's all about the money to debate me. Dude, you're the guy that came out and said my audience is gone because I'm anti-war when that's super popular. But I didn't do that because it's super popular. It's the right thing. Can't do You're the guy that did that. You're
Right.
the guy
He did.
that
Yep.
besmirched my credibility.
TT
and
did
then
that.
he did all these posts saying, I don't know why Alex is attacking me. I'm his biggest buddy. I'm his biggest pal. You won't even own up to your attack.
Oh.
Can't do this. It's a passive-aggressive, beta male move.
Oh my God, give him a break, man, please. So yeah, I don't know, man. I think I just feel just straight up sorry for little Timmy TT at this point, man. I mean, he's like a hilarious character. I don't know, I'll jump on this Trump thing, man. You know, he's trying to figure out a way to make money, trying to figure out a way to get attention. He's wearing Google Glass around. He's like, hey, this sucks. How about this? I'll do the Trump crap. And now it's just like, who would want to live this way? Who would want to live this life? He comes on his thing every day. I never said that. Okay, yeah, I did say that, but I was joking.
Pim Tool,
No,
the original pervert.
No, I wasn't joking. I was just talk about something else. Like, who would want to be an adult and
Using
do this?
pervert glasses
And with this Alex
before
Jones
it was
thing,
cool.
it's... At first, I thought this was fake. I was like, okay, these guys are doing some WWE thing trying to get attention. But that doesn't make any sense, because little Timmy TT just looks like an absolute wiener with all this. But Alex Jones posted something on Twitter X that was basically like, I think there's a glitch. He's like, oh, the great Elon. He loves Elon Musk. Elon Musk, I love you so much. Sorry. You know, he's outside of Whataburger, you know, car recording a video. Please, Elon Musk, please. Because he was saying there's some kind of glitch on Twitter where he couldn't access some crap. You know, the views were down in an unnatural way, like, oh, it did 90% down, all this crap. So he's like describing a glitch, and then Tim Pool goes, nobody wants to watch you anymore because you're mean to Trump. Like, it does look like just a totally self-inflicted error. Like, he said, I'm not losing my viewers fast enough. Let me do this now.
It's classic, because the foreign governments know, they're smart enough to know, you come to me and try to give me money, I'll punch you in the face and call the FBI on your ass. And actually, they did send the FBI.
Okay.
With the Internet Research Group in 2017 in D.C.
Wagner.
You have
But
some
I didn't take the
FBI
money from the richest guy in the world at the
experiences.
time. I said I got to go to the bathroom during the meeting.
Okay.
And so I go and, click record on my phone, and I call my lawyers, and I say, let's meet with the FBI.
The Internet Research Group that's the Wagner group.
Is it actually?
Yeah, that was the Wagner Information Warfare. So he's saying that he met with them and called the FBI on them, which, if true, based.
Hilarious. I didn't know that was what that was.
Yeah, it was only around during that Hillary Clinton election.
That's funny. No Russian interference, though.
There was Russian interference. This was proven.
I was being
Time
facetious.
rolls ever full.
I'm going to send my scout around to the top of China and loot her shit.
I mean, she's
He'll die.
fucked, because I already have man-at-arms.
Yeah, and my entire army is at her doorstep. Like, I'm sending a lot of swordsmen.
Like, I was actually able to get monumentality in that first era. And so I already have the ball rolling. Like, I still have 3 settlers out that haven't even settled yet.
Really?
Yeah. Like, she made a mistake.
Because have a look at
Because I was going down to deal with these barbarians before they formed a city-state to try to get the era score, so I didn't get a double monumentality. She cost me that, and she's going to pay.
I missed my monumentality as well, so I'm coming to participate in this Raising. Because I was building units, and I have a strong enough army. Oh, it's stronger than yours.
I have man-at-arms. Oh, she does too now.
I can upgrade my swordsman. I'm about to get Nida. Provided there's some in my territory. Have a look at how good my start is. Look at the area that I was able to put my main cities in. Surrounded by mountains.
FBI, let's give them this. I went to the FBI, I said, I know another office is behind this, but just, you guys know, I'm not taking money from foreign governments.
Right.
And I'm reporting this with names, and it turned out it was the CIA that was doing it.
Wow. The FBI did have to redact some of that recording, especially when Alex Jones turned on the recorder in the bathroom. I got the unredacted file, though. Here it is. Well, this is another thing that makes me think this is not fake. Is just like how totally one-sided this is, and Tim Pool just looks like an idiot and a baby a little wiener. He just comes out looking like a little make pee-pee boy, and this is just totally a one-sided.
Got your ass! Woo!
Or you could call it a one-sided.
Got your ass!
Well, a got your.
Teddy doesn't like me because I'm exploring more than him.
Because basically what Alex is saying here, he's like, hey, look, I'm not an idiot. I'm not an idiot like little Timmy TT, little pee-pee boy. I'm not a dumbass like that little poo-poo pee-pee TT boy. Because he goes on and on. Who knows what the deal with Alex is, or if any of this is true. But he's like, look, foreign government trying to give me some money. I'll kick them right in their butthole, tell them to go to hell. He's basically saying, like, hey, Tim Pool's such an idiot that he just...
You're very far from...
You literally killed her too fast. Fuck you.
Which is, you know, I have to say,
I also had,
as a lawyer
look at the choke
myself,
point I have to
which
put
I'm
my
not,
army through.
A very compelling case. But
it's a literal one-tile choke
Alex
point.
just has like every card.
It'll be great for defense.
I thought you were on the other side, like up top or something.
I probably could have gone across the ocean, actually.
He's basically saying, like, look, this moron, you know, somehow fell into what appears to be, you know, according to the legal case, like an international money laundering case. If he's stupid enough to do that, he's probably stupid enough, you know, in that Netanyahu meeting to take money from there too. You know, he did. And Alex Jones is pretty much right. He does look like just a dupe, like a dumbass who just trips. Okay, hey Timmy TT, you say whatever the hell we want. Give you a couple
because she had it.
At least that's what Alex is saying. It's a pretty, you know, it's a pretty compelling case.
I didn't go, oh, God, Tim Pool's a Russian agent. Oh, you know, blah, blah, blah. It takes rubles.
Should have.
Calm down.
But when he met Sigurd Netanyahu, I said this a few days ago. I said, I felt guilty, but I'm so loyal to people I think are my friends that I think I mentioned and said, yeah, it doesn't look good, but he met with Netanyahu. It came out. It was a secret meeting. Once it came out, then he admitted the meeting. People go, well, how do you know about the meeting? It was secret because he admitted it after it got exposed. You just keep gaslighting. No, how do you know? How do you know? It's not, you know, it's known Israeli bots doing that.
So, in conclusion,
I never sucked any ding-dongs.
That's the most important thing to remember.
Means I'm a bad person when I don't have money because I'm a true person who didn't sell out. So it's disgusting. So I wanted to end this Tim Pool thing. I felt betrayed by him. I talked about it. But now because he did this.
Okay, this right here is my favorite part. The favorite part of my new favorite video ever made by one of the greatest content creators of all time, Alex Jones. He took a break from recording in his car in the parking lot of Whataburger to drop one of the funniest things. This is my favorite part of this video.
Well, you get advantage from mountains, I get advantage
disgusting.
from hill.
And so I wanted to end this Tim Pool thing. I felt betrayed by him. I talked about it. But now because he did this.
Yeah.
Tim, we got a lot of sources. And a lot of people that like what we're doing, who are actually good. And so now I put the calls in to find out exactly what's going on with you, pal. So you keep being arrogant, you wear your little beanie, and you do your thing, you feel all powerful and laugh at me all. That's fine. It's not personal.
I mean, who knows with my man Alex, you know, who knows? He is a scammy guy, you know. But he's always talking, I got people on the inside of crap, man. He's always talking about how he has people on the inside of all kind of different crap, inside and outside, and all their directions. He's always talking about how he's all these insiders that give him information. Who knows if that's true, but that is very funny. I'm gonna have people look into this. I'm gonna have people look into your little butt. Because it's true, Timmy TT, he does look like he's bumbled into some stuff that's a little over his little hat and an open Volcom shirt. So it is a good, at least rhetorical move by Alex here. I'm gonna get my guys on the inside, look into your little butt.
If I can give you one piece of advice to help you out in your life, perhaps with your career, it's this. Do not post on your employer's Instagram page a threat to beat up another high-profile person publicly. What's up, everybody? Recently,
I didn't do that. What is... Hold on. First of all, this video has about as many as I get with 1.46 million subscribers to his channel. That's not great. What is this format? What is this, like a one... if there's one thing I could tell you to melt body fat while eating whatever you want, now that I got your attention, I'm gonna talk for like 10 more minutes and then you have to buy a course. What is this, man?
For the weekend. And the weirdest thing about the trip was probably when a podcast host told a news organization that was covering my gameplay that instead of covering what I was doing, they should beat me publicly. It's a bad idea. Recommend against it. But let's break down exactly how it went down. Let's talk about the day.
What's this now?
Fucking hills.
This is what's up?
So
what else is up in your life? Okay, all right, man.
Did you guys know that I play poker?
Ew.
You may have heard that.
No one cares, man.
I got two stories for you,
Honestly,
and we'll start
no
with
one
this
cares.
one. Mike Holtz. You've learned his name for the first time.
Who?
He's a poker pro.
Okay, thank you.
He posted on Poker News. So here I am playing the MGM Potomac Summer Open. It's a $3,000 tournament. Poker News is one of the preeminent news organizations covering poker. Gee, who'd have thought?
Okay.
This guy is the host of their podcast.
Right.
He posted in response to them just covering the news. They didn't say they liked me. They just said, Tim Pool's here. He busted out. Why are we giving this human Ishstein any airtime? He betrayed America. We should beat him publicly. Oh, on the list of things you should never say on your employer's Instagram page, or for legal reasons, things you should never say. I take this threat very seriously, as does my security team, and this set off a whole bunch of sirens, because when someone says, I mean, there's a lot of things you can say where we get pissed off, but there's very little to be done. Such as, he should be beaten. It's not an imminent threat.
Right.
He posted, we should beat him publicly.
Okay.
Now we got a problem. We got a big problem.
We got a big problem.
This guy does the Poker News.
Oh my God, poor Timmy TT, man. You know what? He's doing his best. He's doing his best, man. Give him a break. This is the pobrecito of all media. I mean, this video has like no views. He's losing all his subscribers. Everybody in his media sphere is just like attacking him, making fun of him, talking about his hat, threatening to fight him. And he uploads a video for no views about like a poker pro. And I try to find this. Like, this is not like a story, like on a website or something. This is an Instagram post that like nobody looked at, where they post this guy in like a poker tournament. And they're like, Timmy TT, he lost his little tuchus. He's got a gambling problem, man. It goes like this. It goes like this. But this poker Instagram is like, Timmy TT, he lost or something. And then this poker pro, like in the comments, writes, what is this piece of S?
What is this piece of S?
We should beat him publicly. He's a traitor or something. So, like, it looks like Timmy TT went, like, searching for I'm on an Instagram account. Oh, what does that guy say? He'll beat me. But the poor guy, man, he makes it even funnier because this is a real security threat. That poker pro says they should beat me.
They said they should beat my little bottom.
Which, I don't know about that. It's neither here nor there. I'm not a part of this. I do not know how the poker pros should deal with Timmy TT. But that's hilarious. He comes out, "This is a real security threat. I'm really scared. I'm a little upset. And my little Jinkos, my chain wallet, and my skate shoes are all ruffled and disheveled about this." It's like, what? When do you stop doing this? You know, like, when do things get too stupid for Timmy TT?
You can't do this.
Okay.
I'm going to make that clear right now.
Oh, wow.
You, as a representative working for Poker News, responding to the official corporate page of Poker News saying we should beat him publicly. Now my security takes that as a threat from all staff at pokernews.com. Okay?
No.
So now we're going to be putting in reports with all the casinos that I play at when I go to these tournaments.
Oh, wow.
This guy works for this company, and he threatened physical violence
He's very scary.
against our client.
We're in the territory of, like, this guy might be a genius. Like, if this is all written, like, if this is all a satire, like a bit, it's, like, the funniest thing I've ever seen. The most brilliant thing. Everybody in my stupid, ridiculous, moronic sphere of media is basically all making fun of me. They're saying I'm being paid by Israel, which, honestly, it's a very non-zero chance. I'm having meltdowns with a very basic debate-style questions from young men from Jubilee. I'm pretty much constantly having a meltdown on my channel. I'm rapidly losing my viewership. I have a international money laundering case hanging over my head. But worst of all, on top of all this, the ultimate threat.
International money laundering?
Poker News are after me. I've warned my security team, if there's a guy in a hat and glasses who's not trying to express too much emotions in his face, beware! It might be one of our Poker News guys. Like, that's the thing. This makes me think that none of this is fake, because he just comes off as, like, the ultimate little wiener. He's scared of Alex Jones. You know, a 50-year-old, one Whataburger a day drive-through man. He's scared of Alex, and now he's scared of guys who write about and play poker. I'm terrified about this. Okay. Easy, man. Is it too much? Like, this is a real question. I'm actually thinking this. Can someone take custody of Tim Pool? Can a grown-up take custody? Can we say, oh, look at all this evidence. I'd like to take custody of him. He cannot. He needs a legal guardian.
But now we have to take considerations because I don't know where he will be. And I don't know which other staff at Poker News agreed with him and smashed that like button. And I think
smash that like button.
That's the thing that kind of is most...
Yeah, weigh in on this, Phil. This is a pretty normal thing going on here. Weigh in on this, Phil. This is pretty cool stuff. Go ahead, hardcore, Phil.
Concerning is there's so many people that just like it. Like 30 people decided, oh, this was actually a good thing to say.
Why would you point that out? This Instagram account gets, like, no likes and views on any of these posts, and 30 people liked it. We should beat this guy. It's like the most likes a comment has ever gotten on this account.
So why is Alex lying about it? So I'll give you an example because let's break down the lies.
Well,
just so we can once again explain to you this is all
by the way,
fake.
So pretty convincing, man. Pretty
the
convincing.
demon
Okay, so
video,
pretty interesting
but
story.
it needs to be looked through for audio glitches just because we blew out the mic
battle
so many times.
Yeah, okay.
You know, so Alex Jones, you know, a master broadcaster. He comes out, he's got a pretty compelling case. Oh, Timmy TT, you know, little Timmy TT. Aside from wearing a hat all the time, you know, he did meet with Netanyahu. And it does look like he tried to keep it secret, but then he knew it was not going to be secret, so he did to start talking about it. He's got some kind of money laundering case hanging over his head that he bumbled, it looks like, into. And of course, on top of all that, what may be an Alex Jones front group, Poker News, that his agents who have infiltrated Poker News are after him, maybe. But Alex Jones does have a very compelling case here, at very least rhetorically. Tim Pool does look very compromised. He's just lying about everything, all this crap. So now it's time for Timmy TT to fire back, defend himself. Oh my god, 38,000 views. Oftentimes less than I get. So things are going well for Timmy TT. Okay, go ahead. You gotta defend yourself, man. These people are attacking you from every side, including Poker News.
It is all completely fake. And I think the reason is, and I think
I
Alex is
love
a
that
part
the
of it,
at Tim
is
Test
that
has a beanie
there is a
on
play
it.
behind the scenes, probably super.
Like his
it's not super
logo
complicated.
has a beanie
Okay, by the way, this
incorporated.
video is he got the call. Oh, okay, from who? See if we can discern this.
It's probably a political action committee, and they
Okay.
said, guys, if we want to win in 2028, you know, if Trump loses, right, in the midterms, then there's going to be impeachments, there's going to be investigations. If Rubio or Vance loses in 28, the Democrats are going to be controlled by the DSA, and they're going to start going after all of Trump's allies. So here's the game plan. The new left-right divide is going to be, so we're going to capture parts of the disaffected left.
Okay.
We're going to move them to the middle position. We're going to get rid of woke. We're going to say Trump is bad. Then we're going to create two factions. Woke is eliminated, and you've got the anti-foreign, you've got like the libertarian-esque left, where they're like, war is bad, Trump is bad, Israel is doing bad things to the United States. And then
Okay.
you have the more neocon, pro-Trump right faction of this. That's where things are starting to shuffle out. And everything you're seeing
So
on
did you
social media
ever
is
think
fake.
Tim Pool was a
Alex,
moderate?
Whatever pack you're working with, Candace, whoever else involved,
He
I am not so
definitely
easily manipulated because I don't
tried
care.
for a little bit
I'm
to
not
at
going
least
to be
appear that
emotionally
way.
triggered into being like, oh, well, actually, Israel,
And
I
about
like. I'm gonna be like,
2018
well,
Whoa, wait,
yeah, you're
hold
right.
on. Sorry, guys.
Is when
this
he
happened
kinda
sometime
lost it.
because I'm an audio professional as well as video. I heard something there that I may need to clip and Audacity and Adobe Premiere out. Hold on, let me check this.
So easily manipulated because I don't care. I am not going to be emotionally triggered into being like, oh, well, actually, Israel, I like.
What are
Oh,
you
yeah,
doing
you're
right
right.
now?
Don't care. Thank you and have a nice day.
Uh-huh.
The question.
So I listened to that like, I don't know, 4, 5, 10 times, you know, because he was speaking very rapidly and doing. He's doing a lot of bap. And I listened to that back. I was like, oh, what the hell? Let me see if I can discern some of this crap. And what it sounds like is somebody sort of like, I don't know, panicking? Or just doing bep? Improvising or something? Oh, this poor guy, man. I just, honestly, I think I feel the same way that Jubilee guy does, where I'm like just kind of fascinated by this. I don't know, that's what you do. Okay, interesting. Like, there's nothing political here. This is just a fascinating character. Somebody with none of the, what would you call it? Like, psychological guardrails of an adult, maybe. Because I listened to this back, and he's like, oh, here's how I defend myself. Alex is a secret thing going on. And that secret thing that Alex has going on is there's a political left and right who have different views on some things, and some things that it's kind of aligning with on some other stuff. And it's all fake. And I'm not pissed off about anything. Okay. Looks like when he was saying all that stuff, his crew, his employees, are all kind of just like on their phones. They're like, oh, okay, great defense. Alex Jones is part of a secret thing. Something. That's basically what Alex Jones is actually doing. I mean, this kind of honestly feels like he's giving away that he's a little worried about this.
What
And
the
a little
fuck?
panicked about this. Actually, he's a part of
How
a
is
secret
Norway
thing.
108
The
signs
question
but in
really
a
comes down to
dark
this.
Okay.
Why is Alex Jones all day on his live shows, on these posts, consistently saying that I work for Israel?
Yep.
That he actually posted Tim gets his marching orders from Netanyahu.
Right.
This is all.
I think he's probably working deep cover in a coordination with
Amazing.
Poker News and the Poker
Perfect
News
timing.
Infiltration Unit, which is a subsidiary
Forget Isaac Newton.
of Poker News Global, which is basically just a front for the CIA, man.
On these posts, consistently saying that I work for Israel, that he actually posted Tim gets his marching orders from Netanyahu. This is all completely fabricated and a near 2-year-old story. So why is Alex lying about it? So I'll give you an example because
For fun.
let's break down the lies, just so we can once again explain to you this is all fake. So
It definitely doesn't sound suspicious when you say fake. Hey, don't look at that. Fake. Hey, don't look over that. Fake. Hey, Tim, what's going on? No, my ears are covered. Tim, fake. I really do hope this is all real, because it is the funniest. This poor guy, man, doesn't know what he's doing as a little baby. I really do hope it's real, because it is hilarious. He's like, why is Alex doing this, man? Why is he doing this unless he's in on it? In on what? It something. Poker, probably Poker News related. And the whole thing is Tim Pool started this. Like, he went on Twitter, nobody watches you anymore because I'm mean to Trump, man. Like, he started this whole thing. He started this whole thing and now just looks like a completely guilty, compromised individual person of interest at this point. And now he's like, oh, fake, man. This is where this is going to go. Tim Pool's going to point at hardcore Phil. You say it. You say fake. I'm going to go around and point. If you guys want to get paycheck this week, you say fake. And he points at them like he's like a conductor. Fake. They all have to just keep chirping fake.
It's a drag to hear this kind of
It's not real, bro. This is not real life. This is not what real people do.
Wow, bro.
I don't know.
Go ahead,
This is not real.
It's
Phil.
Well, I mean, so maybe he doesn't.
Fix
maybe
it,
he
Phil.
doesn't believe it, but the fact that he's
Shut up,
saying this
Phil.
publicly is still
Shut
stabbing
up.
you in the back after you've defended him in the past.
What would make Alex Jones be so dishonorable and disloyal? Do we believe that it's possible of Alex Jones's character?
Uh-huh.
I mean, his recent arc where he was calling Trump like basically demon possessed and stuff. I mean,
Something happened to him.
I think that like maybe he never was terribly loyal in the first place.
No, I disagree. I've been listening to Alex Jones since I was a teenager. This is where
that explains a lot.
This group of absolute gooners. Maybe this is why Timmy TT, like with Emma, why they like demand people appear in person instead of over like a Zoom, just to break up this sea of doofuses. Okay, sorry. No offense. That's nothing personal.
Phrase, I say Key Bono. I came from watching his show in like 2006. I was in Seattle at a screening of Endgame when it first came out. So what would make Alex Jones become a different person overnight?
Oh.
Seems like that's been the case with a lot of these people. It's just
he was mean
to
you.
It makes sense for Tucker and Candace, who have consistently done this, but
He's
Alex
getting pissed
has
off
not.
at his employees
His
now.
whole life, Alex was the same person until just now.
I mean, there's even a lot of people that were minted in the MAGA orbit. I mean, I understand what you're saying.
They're great, man. Who are you? Okay, so that's the Timmy TT side, along with his, I don't call him this, people do, gaggle of doofuses. Let's hear Alex's side on this exact topic. Okay.
Now that Israel's propaganda war failed, which they admit, that now you've suddenly flipped from being pro-war and pro-Netanyahu, meeting with him secretly, to now going, oh, I agree with all of you. It shows what a fence rider you are. You're a sunshine patriot, pal, not a winter soldier. I'm a winter soldier. Tim Pool is a sunshine patriot.
That's correct.
Not a leader.
I agree with that.
I don't have some hard on for Tim
Oh,
Pool.
Winter Soldier
It's just that
actually
I
means
sit there
something?
and
I
watch
thought
him
that was
repeat
just
an
a
Israeli
Marvel
propaganda bot attack
Maybe.
on me, which
Right.
is 100% clear, and then not call you out. So what a cowardly move. Jones doesn't have enough money. He's not in my class to even debate me. I'm a god up here above him, even though since it came out that he met with Netanyahu in secret, his audience, which was not even that big before, has gone like this.
Bankruptcy.
It has?
That's the type of chicken arithmetic that we're dealing with here.
The 1776 pamphlet American Crisis.
I'm not going
Thomas
to play
Paine
these games.
wrote
I'm
about
not
the
going
summer
to do some
soldier and the
fake debate
sunshine
with Alex
patriot
Jones
who
because we
shrink
don't
from
even agree
service
on
of their
these-
country in
disagree.
crisis.
He's just fabricating an issue,
A
claiming
winter soldier
we did.
originally meant a resilient
It's a
person
lie.
who stays, fights, and
So, put it
perseveres
simply,
when times are harsh,
I'm
difficult,
not
and
going
dangerous.
to play any games or do any weird, stupid.
You already said that. You're panicking, man. You already said that.
I'm not going to play any games or do any weird, stupid, bare knuckle boxing BS. I'm going to tell you straight up. Alex Jones can shove it up his ass. He's a bad person.
Whoa!
I defended him for a decade.
Jeez.
He showed up to my show the past 3 times drunk and staring on the bottle of Tito's, and we defended him.
Okay.
He had an alcohol-induced seizure on the show back in March. Look it up. The episode got like 2 million views because
Oh,
of it.
Teddy, we're friends.
And we defended him. We called for help because we were
Open borders
concerned
for
about his
free?
health.
Love
and
it,
we defended
Teddy.
him. But the dude is
The
a
doofus is my
scumbag.
friend.
He turns on a dime where the money is offered to him. I'm not
Wow.
debating you, bro. I don't give a shit. You can
I mean,
go
he's
f-
not
off and
doing
lose my
that
phone
bad.
number. I don't care.
Whoa!
No, I know.
These people all deserve each other. They deserve each and every one of themselves in a big group.
Because he's fairly
screaming at each
isolated.
other and
That's
lying
pretty
the whole
funny.
time.
That's accidentally funny.
You know, I'll be honest with you. How I feel, what's going on, the back end stuff, and it is what it is.
Yeah.
And there you go. Thanks for hanging out. I'll see you all in the next segment.
Okay. Okay, so this hurts me personally because I'm a huge TT head. I'm a TT boy, you know?
Make pee-pee
that he is, I'm not saying this, I read this on Poker News. He's a coward, he's cowardly running away from the great. The victor who has just owned and dunked on the little butt of Timmy TT.
Make pee-pee.
Of Timmy.
Make pee-pee.
Of Timmy.
Well.
But, guys, one thing I'm not disappointed in is the fact of that. We got a person of the day.
Well, I bet you've never seen this U.S. map before. Where
Yes, I have.
Where Kentucky is Kenvecki, Indiana is Inolano, and Tennessee is Tunisio, and the list goes on. Well, this was in the agenda given to students at a JCPS middle school.
Okay, so this is our person of the day, and it's a by person. It is a person. It's a little AI robot. Today's person of the day is a little stupid, little moronic AI robot. This is a story from Louisville,
Kentucky.
Louisville, Kentucky. This is a story from Louisville right here. Louisville, I believe it's pronounced. What is this called? JCPS parents. JCPS, I guess that's someplace in Louisville. Parent questions how error-filled student agenda made it into the classrooms. This is like there's some website where where teachers can buy like pre-made little
this story was so funny.
And it looks like some of them are getting little dumb, annoying little AI robots. Little AI robots.
I'm out here in Louisville, Kentucky.
And I'm sick of these AI little robots. But they got like an AI robot to do the, I guess to make money or something from these pre-made teacher lesson plans. But here we go. This is the most important part right here.
Mom, did you know that we live in Venecki? And I said, what are you talking about?
No, the kid's right.
Sent Morris flipping through her middle schooler at Farnsley's brand new agenda, unveiling all sorts of bizarre errors.
The periodic table is just jarbled words. We have new
when is it not?
In this U.S. map, Louisiana is Lukong, Alabama is Alatome, Illinois is Vitoise, and South Carolina is South Quanto.
Arizona is
Way
Arizona.
better.
I mean,
University of
there's
South
not
Quanto.
even the correct letters in Tennessee.
Yeah, it's better.
Illinois starts with a V. I mean,
it doesn't?
It's crazy.
And look at these phases of the moon. Some are not legible. What should be waning crescent says waning crescane. And the periodic table, where the names under the elements are gibberish.
Oh, we have to pay a $10.
Okay, so there we go. Some school district in Louisville. They're just somehow AI written instructional learning material has made its way into the hands of these little rats we call kids. But I'm a fan of Joe. Yes, Rogan.
Adult baby.
That's Mr. Rogan to you. Okay, I don't know. But I'm a big fan of Joe Rogan, and he's always like, oh man, AI is going to become Jesus H. Christ. AI is going to become Jesus and Allah and Vishnu and all this crap all rolled into one man. Right? Right, JD Vance? And then JD Vance go like this.
Well.
And this is further support of that, because this little stupid, dumb, annoying AI, it came up with actually better names. Like instead of Mars, it should be Mark. You look through a telescope, look at Mark up there. It makes it more personal, makes it more personable.
Makes it more relatable.
The principal or whatever, when these parents came and they were like, what the hell is Mark? It says there's a planet Mark. If I were the principal in Louisville, I probably just would have been like, it is called that. That planet actually is Mark. Anyway, I gotta head out.
In this U.S. map, Louisiana is Lukong, Alabama is Alatome, Illinois is Vitoise, and South Carolina is South Quanto.
Yeah, see, this is where I agree with Joe. Those are all better names. The AI is so Christ-like that it came up with the names that it should be. Well, anyway, guys, that's me reporting.
Asterisk change here that on its face, like, people wouldn't know why it's disastrous. Even I, honestly, when I first heard the change, I didn't like immediately connect the dots as to why it's so terrible. I got a video here for you from Penguin Zero, aka Charlie, aka Moist Critical, and he breaks down why this new YouTube change is actually catastrophic. So let's listen and we'll break it down. Here we go.
I mean, like, I don't even know what to say. Like,
This new YouTube change is my second least favorite change they've ever made, second only to dislikes being removed, and this is only slightly behind it because I think this one is on almost the same level of baffling stupidity to even have the idea, and even more befuddling to pull the trigger on actually implementing this idea. YouTube has made a habit out of just going hog wild on changes that not a single soul on the planet has ever asked for, and there's a chance that these ideas are thoughts that not a single sentient organism has ever thought of until YouTube farted them out. Because these ideas are just so silly and wacky. It's like when you take a shit, you're probably not thinking about eating the poop, but YouTube, they get in there like a pinworm and they say, the hell with it.
Send me
lunch. Money? And they do, like removing dislikes because their feelings got hurt over Rewind.
You have no money.
And now today they announced that they're completely changing the way that YouTube views on long-form content are calculated publicly.
I'm now making
August 24th,
money, so
views will count
something.
the moment a video begins to play with no minimum watch time. The first frame of a video will count as a view now across all formats, VOD, Shorts, and Live. We're standardizing views to reflect creators' true exposure across YouTube, making it easier to show their value to brand partners. This update won't impact creator earnings or YouTube partnership program eligibility.
Now, by the way, right off the rip, though, like, if it's not going to affect earnings, then, like, why would you even make the change, right? Like, I guess you're kind of, like, devaluing a view a little bit by doing this, right? But it's actually a lot more nefarious than that. Wait for it.
So if you have a video even autoplay for a split second, like scroll to one autoplays, that counts as a view publicly. Now, they do mention that they still have engaged viewer metrics, which is kind of the old way of calculating it, where you need a viewer to stick around for, it was about like 30 seconds on long form content, which is like an actual view and something that's been standard on the platform for ages. Now they're going the way of shorts calculation, which is even if you like fall asleep and it just starts doom scrolling, every single thing that it hits is going to count as a view there. Just ding is an impression, which is completely useless. This change is going to explode YouTube views, obviously, but it's not real. It's just a vapid fake number. It's just phony baloney nonsense, really.
On its face, that's a bad thing, right? Like, you don't want to juice the numbers to the point where it's just totally inaccurate. I mean, everybody correctly went after Rumble, for example, because their views appear to be juiced. Or, you know, Facebook back in the day, they really were like mega juicing their numbers. And when advertisers found out that the views were basically fake, they just like stopped giving money for Facebook video. And like a bunch of people who really bet hard on making a video career using Facebook got just like nuked into oblivion and lost everything. And so like there's serious consequences associated with it. And it's literally like a fake change. They're making stuff more fake now.
And the sentence there where they said it's going to help you stand out to brand partners, no the fuck it's not. Brand partners are going to maybe do deals for like a month under these new programs with these channels that are getting millions of views, and they'll sell like 3 things because it's all fucking fake. Like,
that's actually a really devastating point. I've never talked to an advertiser, so in this respect, I'm in the clear because I don't talk to these motherfuckers anyway. But all these people who have brand deals, you know, you go to a brand and say, hey, look at the views I'm getting. And then you go to a brand and, you know, you end up doing nothing for that brand. There's no sales. And then what happens? Eventually the advertisers go, well, why the fuck are we wasting money giving to these like influencers? There's no return on investment. And so then that'll lead to like an advertiser exodus, right? Seems like a bad idea.
So silly. And the only channels that stand to benefit from this are the channels that you don't want to thrive here, the ones that have already poisoned shorts, which is AI, clickbait, and just fucking endless amounts of slop, mainly AI slop.
I have to say, and I've seen it more and more start to take over the platform too, where it's just like complete AI channels. And I think that should be illegal. I don't think it should be allowed on YouTube. I think YouTube should try to ban 100% AI channels. I mean, it's insane that I even have to say these words out loud, but like, we shouldn't be drowning in slop, right? Like, shouldn't that be obvious to people? We're drowning in fucking slop, and now their numbers are going to get juiced. The slop factories are going to get juiced numbers, and then attracting advertisers to them over real people. I mean, this has got disaster written all over it.
This now incentivizes them to break containment, the SCP protocol here, and go on to long form now, because now they can thrive there too, and they already have been thriving in long form.
Oh shit, I see what he's saying. So he's saying like there's a lot more AI slop in short form, but now this allows them to break through into long form, which will further drown out the real creators.
Even with the previous view metric calculation, this now just incentivizes it more and pushes normal creators to once again really heavily consider just clickbaiting, so that way they get you in the door right away. Like, K-pop Demon Hunters did what? And it's them bending over fucking full goatsy or something. Just to get a click, because now that counts as a view, whereas before it didn't.
That's a good point. I mean, there's already enough of like a clickbait problem just from human nature alone. And what they're doing is they're like putting that problem on steroids, right? Because now, like, oh, if you just get somebody in the door for a split second, you're good. And you could just bait and switch, hard body, you know?
You got clickbaited, you'd probably click off in a handful of seconds. That would never register as a view, so you could never capitalize on that. Now, with this new change, you can, and it is constantly going to be incentivizing that. And again, it does nothing for brand partners, because if they start working under these fake numbers instead of like requesting engaged viewer numbers, then those brands are fucking dumb. And they're going to feel a huge hit to their marketing spend when they see no return off all of these phony baloney views, these fucking horseradish views that aren't real. And you can easily gamify this. Like I saw Spiffing Brit give a little infinite money glitch that is a little tongue-in-cheek, but would actually work, where you just instruct your viewers to just F5 over and over again while you have a sponsorship enabled with uncapped CPM. You could farm an unbelievable amount of money through doing that if it's just the public views instead of engaged views.
That's fucking hilarious.
And I don't think that's going to happen, because I don't think brands are going to really care about the public view. I don't think anyone's going to care about the public view, because everyone is going to know it's not real. And it just really made botting services extremely happy. You know they just fucking blew a load into those britches right there. They got a fucking fat wet spot in those trousers, because now bots are going to be so pivotal to a lot of these like AI slop factory protocol. Like this is like, and not only that, just also normal YouTubers that are trying to like stand out might just start doing botting. That's going to be much more effective now that it doesn't have to like have a certain amount of time that it sticks around. Just a single frame is all it takes. Bro, botting services are absolutely going to be popping off.
If dead internet theory wasn't real, it feels like it's becoming real now. Like I felt like YouTube was kind of a little bit of an oasis in a sea of like AI slop and bullshit and nonsense. And now it seems like maybe not. And there's always a giveaway with the botting. Like, you guys know this. If you check, there'll be a massive discrepancy between the number of views and then the number of comments. Like, there were allegations that the comedian Whitney Cummings was botting her stuff because her, you know, a podcast of hers would have like 500,000 views or something. She'd be getting like Joe Rogan level numbers. And then you'd look and there'd be like, you know, 38 comments. And it's like, that's obviously fake. But, you know, I would like it if they try to solve the problem as opposed to making it worse with the botting. But it seems like they're just like, fuck it, bot away.
No doubt. Like, yes, YouTube does have like anti-botting measures in place, but they're not perfect. No platform has perfect protection from bots. Like, I mean, look at Shorts, for example. Like, and that's only going to be now even more prevalent because it's not just Shorts, now it's long form too.
YouTube is moving to an exposure-based model for views across all formats, meaning a view will now be counted the moment a video begins to play from the very first frame. Hello Insiders, I'm Rene Ritchie, a longtime creator now working at YouTube, and here's what's up. Last year, YouTube moved to an exposure-based model for Shorts views. This year, starting August 24, YouTube will be expanding that model to long form.
Oh, excuse me, I'm wiggling in my seat. Oh, I can't help myself here. Please, I don't mean to interrupt, but my hand is raised. Can I ask a quick question? How did that work for Shorts? Are Shorts in a really good spot? Is Shorts on YouTube synonymous with high-quality content that's being churned out? Or has it been degraded into a complete cesspool of AI slop that even YouTube themselves is trying their absolute best to combat night and day to no avail, fighting an endless battle of these slop factories that are churning out infinite amount of content all hours of the day, every single second, just to capitalize off of this kind of shit?
I mean, he's right. I'm also, I'll go a step further. I'm also just like kind of anti the really short videos anyway, because I keep seeing now articles and research and stuff where they say it absolutely nukes your ability to like have discipline and self-control and restraint and your attention span. Like, it just gets obliterated by sitting there and just scrolling mindlessly through, like, whether it's TikTok videos or YouTube short videos. And like, I do see a difference. Like, I pretty much never watch them. Maybe once in a blue moon, I'll watch like one or two, but I never like sit there and go through it. But there's like a generational thing where I see with the younger kids, they'll only do those. And you realize like, hold on, do you not have the attention span to sit through like a 15-minute video? Because that's actually kind of devastating. Like, it's kind of like dumbing down the population on purpose, right? So I'm like against those, those things anyway. But what he's describing is, they're botted to the high heavens. And that shit is fake as fuck. And now that's going to make the crossover into the long form as well.
I don't really think you should be taking lessons from the way Shorts is functioning right now for long form. Because while
it's all AI, it's like a lot of AI shit.
Long form obviously has its problems with the same thing, AI slop and those content farms. I've yapped about it quite a bit. It's not nearly to the level of degeneracy that's on Shorts, but this is making a push towards it. Why? How is there not a lesson being learned right now with what's going on with fucking YouTube Shorts? Are they just so blinded by the big number, like 200 billion views a day on Shorts or whatever? Now they want it to long form? Like, oh, we have 200 billion YouTube Shorts views. Now let's extend that to long form where we can just artificially inflate all these numbers for exposure. These fucking random impressions. If someone just happens to accidentally see a frame of your video, bang, that counts. And now we have big number time to celebrate.
Yeah, like the enshittification is now hitting YouTube.
But it's not real. It's not legitimate. It's useless. And you yourself on the website even talk about how this has no effect on monetization. So like, you're not paying creators more for these big views. It's imaginary. The creators aren't getting paid more. Brands certainly won't pay them more. And in fact, I would even see a world where they might start paying less because there's so little trust in what the views represent anymore. They would need like thorough analytics on the engaged views. But I think there's a chance that, you know, up and coming YouTubers probably get even worse deals from these brands because they just might not even trust what's being provided through the material anymore.
And maybe that's the point, right? Maybe that's the point. Shortchange people more. And you guys know that I think they made the standards harder to even monetize your YouTube channel in the first place now. When I got monetized, I think it was like you need to have like 1,000 subscribers
I was
or,
able
you know,
to
a
get
certain number of
monetized,
watch.
And then I took a break, and when we came back ready to go was right when their thing expired, and all I had to do was basically check a box and we would have kept that monetization.
Great.
And now it's permanently demonetized.
Because we covered the Houthis.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Hours. But they've since made it way stricter and like the standards way higher. And like that's fucked up. The whole point of YouTube was that it's YouTube. Like anybody can make one. And now it's like, well, the barrier to entry is just way higher. It's not good. It's not good.
There's no winners here except for AI slop. Clickbait just to get that first frame view, that first frame click, and botters. Outside of that, I don't see who this actually benefits except for people that just like to see big number, but if it doesn't mean anything, what's the point of big number? I don't understand it. I really don't. It just opens the door to just exploitation and just a further degradation of the content that gets posted onto YouTube, once again trending more towards AI slop and that kind of filth.
And that's terrible, bro. Like, I really think they should ban the 100% AI stuff. I really think. I mean, is that even controversial to say? I feel like that should be controversial.
I'm the only one who voted for aid for Teddy.
It's not doing anything to help normal people that are trying to like
So
make it on YouTube because none of these new view calculations are going to matter to making it into the partnership program, which they just doubled the requirements for. So you still need to hit the engaged views and like the qualified watch hours, which these do not count towards. So it's completely vapid useless.
He's right. He's totally right. And this video goes on. You guys can watch the rest of it if you want. But then I also wanted to show you this. So Andrew Kaczynski says, all search has been ruined. Google date search hasn't worked in a decade. Facebook search doesn't work. YouTube removed sort by, updated, and search strings. And, you know, I noticed that too. YouTube, I noticed recently, they had a decent search thing until like relatively recently. And now when I want to look for a specific video of mine, I type in secular talk and a word that's like definitely in the title. And it just doesn't come up with the video. And I'm like, this is ridiculous. I have to go to the back end of my own YouTube channel, which obviously you guys don't have access to if you're looking for a specific video.
I might be able to hit this
and type in the back end of my YouTube channel.
I definitely have one.
The word that I know is in the title, and then it will come up.
I've got
but like you can't access a lot of the videos just publicly.
Era thing.
They've made it
and I've
worse.
got 2 science
and
buildings
then as
and Isaac Newton,
here,
which will give me
they
2
want
science
a brick
buildings.
search to force
So I should
dependency
get it.
and increased adoption of their AI
we'll
tools.
see.
So again, all for AI slop, all in shitification. So he also says, and in that sense, AI search bots have raised the floor for people who had no basic competency with searching for information, while it's also now crippling information gathering for those who are competent. It's just the enshittification of everything continues, man, and it's disturbing. It's upsetting. It's horrific. Terrible, terrible decisions. YouTube should definitely not do this. And they've also, by the way, while we're having the conversation, they should change back the standards to what they were before to get any ad revenue on YouTube, to get an AdSense account. And they should bring back the dislike button. Like, what the fuck? This is all it should be pretty straightforward, but I don't know. It's like they're intent on destroying everything that works and everything that's good.
They don't
Hey, y'all,
care.
do me a favor and like and subscribe.
Why doesn't Kyle have Tiffany blue shoes?
Has recently, over the past couple months,
Did you see the new meme format?
Rodent problem that we are working to resolve. Okay, and listen, so I called a pest control service, and they came and they set up traps. Not my preferable trap. There aren't like cute chicks walking around with penises in my garage now catching mice. As much as I begged the operator for this to be the case, there are the fucking mulligan set. It's part of the. Hey, listen. Here's a little peel back curtain. Part of the reason I've been hesitant to film a mulligans is because I didn't want to fight
You meme dropped.
the Rat King. All right,
I've seen it.
But it's all but dealt with at this point. Right? This is the end of the story. I've kept the story from you till it was over. That being said, they came and they set up traps, and I've just been avoiding the garage altogether because I don't want to walk. Listen, if there's a Holocaust happening in my garage, I'd rather keep it closed. You know what I mean? I'm just not capable of seeing it, right? So unfortunately, as it's coming to a close, I went into my garage. This was maybe 2 weeks ago now. And I was grabbing a broom because I was in the garage. I needed to sweep outside for something. All right. The technical term would be Mauschwitz. And this is so like I can't do it. I don't even like talking about it. But I have to tell the story because I want to know if anyone finds it relatable, and two, I want to know if I'm just like maybe there's an aspect of this that I could get. Okay. Anyway, so. I go out there, and I've now realized that I'm now a part of it. They are using, to get these mice, traps that are just laid out with like a yummy substance on them that are like sticky pads. And so the mouse or rodent or whatever will come for the food and get stuck. I want you to know when I realized this, I was not okay with it instantly. I was like, excuse me? And so when I went to grab a broom, I looked down at the sticky pad. And the whole thing moved. And there was no bigger than a small peach, an apricot. I don't want to cry.
Science City States?
I really, this fucked me up. And you know what, chat? Listen, I'm going to tell you right now, I'm draft dodging. I can't do it. You know what I mean?
Encampments?
I can't do it.
City Center.
Because this fucked me up. The whole thing moved, and I looked down, and
What'd you
there's
pick?
a tiny little
City Center.
apricot-sized, beautiful mouse just stuck. And that's when it hit me what his fate was. I could draw this thing from memory. If my hands could match what my brain is currently seeing, I could draw it perfectly. I remember it. It is devastated me. So I immediately had a meltdown. I had to take a seat. I couldn't handle it. MS Paint, bro. Don't make me do this. Not only can I not draw, like I'm not an artist, but I'm also left-handed. So even if I was an artist, you're about to see right-handed mouse drawing. Not the mouse, this mouse! So I didn't know what to do. First, no, I don't even want to draw it! And I stared at him.
How did I lose a trade
And so
rat?
immediately I called the pest control. I'm not going to out who
Fuck
it is,
you.
but I called them and I said, I kind of trauma dumped on this operator. I was like, hey, I'm not happy. I'm actually really pissed off, and I'm looking for answers, and I'm looking for help, and I know you're probably the person who is gonna relate with me the least because you're in the business of murdering these things. But I'm not pleased because I'll say this: I eat meat, right? If you got rats in your house, you got to get rid of them. There's no fucking I get it. I'm not stupid. I want them out or dead, but I don't want them stuck to a fucking piece of paper to slowly die. So I was like, hey, I'm not cool with this. What is happening? What do? I don't like this. I'll get to what she said. There was a question I asked, though, and she was like, please do not do that. I was like, can I set food and water out for him and you guys can come help him? And she was like, please don't feed the mouse. I was like, what if I just drip water on him until you, like, first I'm like, when is the next day you can come? She's like, we can't be out there for like 4 days. I'm like, so he's doomed? Like, are you okay with that? And she's like, unfortunately, that's like, I understand what you're saying, but I don't know, like, what do you want? And I'm like, do I leave him seeds or something? I could give him popcorn? And she's like, please do not like interact. Do not feed it. It mortified me. It legitimately mortified me. I hate thinking about it. It's fucked me up. So then I said, I get it. I'm not going to call an exterminator and be like, hey, why are you killing the rats? I get it. But I was also like, can we not feed them poison and then they go home with their families and they all die together in bed? Or like, is there not something that could just kill them instantly to where they don't even know they're dead? Listen, I don't care what you say. I'm maybe jumping through hoops, but I don't want rats in my fucking garage. But I also don't want to torture rats. I may be morally inconsistent, but I'm consistent in my
literally
brain.
Zero.
Do you know what I mean? I don't want them hurting. I don't want them in my garage. I don't care if they're alive. I just don't want them to suffer. Poison is less humane.
One luxury resource.
Oh my God! I'll be back. No, I'm kidding. Here's what she tells me. She's like, unfortunately, this is the only service we offer. We do offer, it's a little more expensive, the box. So the sticky trap is in the box, so you don't have to see them. And I'm not gonna lie, lady, this was weeks ago at this point, I snapped at her. And I'm like, you're not listening. It's not about seeing it. I don't want them to die this way. Like, what do you, like, I don't want to pay extra to not see it. Like, what's wrong with you? And then and she's like, okay, no, like, I understand, like, I get it. And I'm like, okay, I know you have every reason to lie to me right now, but I need you to talk to me like a human. I drop this a lot on customer service people. But I'm like, please, just talk to me like a human real quick. Is this standard? If I go and call other extermination places, is this, like, normal? And she goes, unfortunately, in California, this is what you're gonna find. In almost all cases. Like, yeah, like this is how we get rid of mice. Fuck. And I want you to know, chat, it's just fucked me. I'm mortified. Listen, okay, boom, never have to work again. I'm done. I'm satisfied with my career. I'm going into the rat business because what are we doing here? Why are we what are we doing? I had a big meltdown on the phone. I was like on the verge of tears. And the whole time I'm justifying, I'm not like this normally. Like, I'm not this guy. Like, I don't care. I eat animal. I just don't want it to hurt. I don't want it to hurt. And she's like, okay, we'll see what we can do. I'm going to be honest with you, chat. I use my garage still now. I'm back to using it because there doesn't seem to be a problem anymore. And when I walk into my garage, you want to know how I walk through it now? I'm not lying. You want to know how I walk through it? This is POV. I'm going through my garage, past my set to get to my car. Ready? I look at the ceiling! I can't do it! I look at the ceiling as I walk through! Bro, you just took a step into the real world. I understand, like, listen, I am not so lost as a soul that I don't understand. Bro, you don't want rats in your home. We got to get rid of them. I get it. But I don't want this little guy. He was the cutest mouse I've ever seen. He had big ears. He was so scared, probably. I thought about shooting him. I didn't know what to do. I really didn't know what to do. And it's hilarious and sad. I just didn't want. I don't like thinking about it. It's gonna ruin the whole story. I'm not lying, chat. As joking as the story is being presented, I don't even like thinking about it. It fucked me up for the full day, and now anytime I think about it, it's fucked. Call your dad? My dad's the same. You know what was funny? You say call my dad. My dad's the wrong guy for the job. I got this from my dad. My dad is also, I mean, I think to a T has the same feelings as I do, right? Like, when it's dead, it's dead. Humanely take care of it if you can, right? Get it out of the house alive. But my dad's not one to be like, oh, poor mouse stuck to a pad. Let me break its neck. You know, I grew up on a farm. I get it. I just then call my mom. My mom's dealing with her own shit. Honestly, the vacuum might have been worse. But either way, at the end of the day, I did see what reminded me of the story was the little corner of the garage where he was. And I think that my meltdown reached this company I hired, because now in that corner is one of those like straight up old, like what you would picture when you think of a mousetrap, the thing that flips. And I'm like, surely that's not humane either. Like, that's just gonna fuck. Like, what if it clips him slightly wrong? You know, like, God, those are good. Those are good. Oh, it's more humane. Oh, thank God. Okay, see, this is what's so good about talking about this to you guys. That's better? Okay. Oh, thank God. Those are there now. Those are there now. And I looked at it right before stream. I stared at it, and I'm like, because you know what it is? I keep doing this thing. You know how I say I go through my garage like this? I lied. I do that. I do walk through my garage like this. But I do the same thing I do when I'm browsing a Reddit and I see a post that's like, NSFW, man loses his hand to firework accident. And I go, I'm not going to look at that. And then I feel my mouse slowly going over. I'm like, I'm not going to look at that. It's going to ruin my whole day. And then I hover over it and it pops up and I squint and I go, ah, and I stare. I do that when I walk through the garage. I don't look and then I peek and I'm like, oh, there's nothing on that trap. Okay. Oh, there's nothing on that one either. I stared at it, seeing if there was a mouse on it, and there wasn't. I think we're good. I think they got the message. I can't, guys. I can't put a memorial in the rat corner. He was a mouse. He wasn't even a rat. He was clean. He was clean and pure. And he
I got a golden age. My science work.
He probably hurt for so long. You're POV. You're a scared mouse, starving and dehydrated. You hear a slide rack behind you and the faint sound of a man slowly weeping. You don't even have time to question it before a 5-7 round comes barreling through your tiny mouse body at over 2,000 feet per second. You don't even hear the gunshot.
A 5-7 would annihilate a mouse.
Evaporated. Okay, hold on. I was obviously I never actually even really considered shooting it, but when I'm looking at it, all the options are going through my head of like,
it's a
do
weird,
I just jump on it? Like, I don't want him to stop. And then, you know, dude, I didn't even think I'd share this, but I'm just gonna share it. Later, after they came and like they took everything out and they set up new ones and everything, this was like a real come to Jesus moment for me. This happened, so this probably happened 2.5 weeks ago. Last week, or it was before I was out of the house for one of the random days. The dates aren't important. I went into the garage, and because I wasn't looking down, I stepped in my Crocs on a glue trap. And I seriously went, God is real. And this is me being brought back down and punished because I didn't help him. Like, I'm him now. I need to just sit on my floor till I die. And you know what? By the way, the whole crock got thrown out with it because them things are sticky, bro. Let me tell you right now. I was like, damn. If I was a mouse, it would have my ass. I'd be like, oh shit, Caniac combo? Oh no. Oh fuck. Oh shit. Did you shoot the croc? All right, we're going to pause everything right now, chat. Everyone's going to pause. And we're all going to take a minute to say something supportive and nice. It was kind of refreshing to see all of, at least the messages I chose to read. People seem to get where I'm coming from. So like the dude who built my garage set, Nick, he's such a like salt of the earth man. You know what I mean? Gets his hands dirty. When he came into my garage like way earlier, he was on his hands and knees doing shit. And he goes up to the floor and he goes, I think you have rats. And I'm like, brother, I would quit the job then. Like, that's it for me. You know what I mean? And I bet you if this message reaches Nick, he would have been like, why didn't you just like, you know, boot to the face? Like, why are you being a bitch? And I know a lot of men like this. I don't know too many ladies like this, but I'm sure they're in this chat. It's so not me. Do they stink? I don't know what he did. He's just, you know, He's the kind of guy that the only time I've seen his hands not dirty are when we're sitting down for like a dinner that we all go to. But basically the rest of the time that man is 2 shades darker from the elbows down. Cause he's just like, I'm in shit. I'm doing shit. Glue traps are only okay for roaches because fuck roaches. Bugs are a different breed. I don't like people who like torture the bugs on TikTok or anything, but like, I don't. You trap a roach with a glue trap, I ain't gonna call the cops. I don't give a fuck. You know what I mean?
Have you seen the guy with the
okay? So it's
book
kind
of
of nice
mosquito
to see
corpses?
how many people in chat were like, glue traps are
Freak.
inhumane. I was like arguing with this lady. I'm like, why is this the only option? I'm like, I have money. Can we get rid of these things better? And she's like, this. She didn't say this is the only option on planet Earth. She said this is the only thing we offer, and most places in California, that's basically what. Why did you draw fan art? This is so. How do you do this so quick? This is horrible. Fuck glue traps. Okay, good. I'm not. This is horrible, bro. He was cuter than this too. He had a soft beak. It wasn't so sharp. He didn't look like a stiletto. He was that tiny though.
Ooh, a monumentality.
I didn't know what to do. I'm sorry.
Hell yeah.
POV the last thing you see as a mouse when Whoopi spots you. This is crazy. No, I did not shoot, nor did I actually consider shooting. But in the panic state, I was like, what do I do? How do you kill an animal humanely? Oh, dome piece it, right? What is this YouTube link? Anyway, I was nervous to share that with you guys. No! Oh my god.
Oh! Dobby, no.
We gotta get out of this, or I'm not gonna be able to make it through stream. we gotta get out of this, dude.
Oh, thank God the city-state already killed the barb that killed my trader.
What the fuck? What the fuck? Have we?
Incredible.
I don't want to scream anymore, dude. Bro, this is fucked up, bro.
The whimpering.
There's got to be the best stream, dude, on planet. Where else are you gonna get content like this? This is crazy.
I figured we might as well, because it's working for everyone else, we should start doing... YouTube, please shut up in the background. I figured, since everyone else does the police body cam reacts, we might as well start doing it too, right?
I mean, yeah. Please tell me the turkey attacks him. I can't hear it, by the way. Is there any audio?
No. Was there audio there? Did you hear anything?
Yeah, there's audio. Now. Goddamn turkeys.
Oh my gosh. Get out of here!
Well,
Really just
that was a
whip the
mistake.
lights at the turkey.
He's going to take that as a challenge. You're turkey mocking him.
641.
Yeah, listen to him.
$333 Fond du Lac, 1045.
Three, go ahead.
Hey, what are you doing?
I've got a turkey attacking my cruiser.
Hilarious. Just shoot it. You do like you do it with dogs.
10-4. He has no fear.
333 west for 20.
He has no fear.
I am on Evergreen at Hay Meadow in Grand Chute.
713. 10-4, do you need backup unit? College. Females is going to be at home. They just like
I don't know what they're gonna do.
There you go, Beijing. Nice.
333 Fond du Lac. I tried to use my siren to scare him out of the road so he wouldn't get struck, and I think he took it as a challenge.
That's exactly what happened.
Yo! Yeah! Yeah!
She's waiting with you. Three highway finalized. 333 need a 33 response. $333, do you need backup emergence for the turkey attack?
Yeah, 1040 is good. I'm trying to de-escalate. Negotiating. He is pecking at my tire.
Oh, now they know how to de-escalate.
Bye.
Sorry, 13. 13-1. Yeah, north of it.
Leave.
Is there a reason the cop needs to be there? I don't know, man. Now it's on the other side of the car.
I really want to see him scream. That would be very funny. I'm stuck in my car.
Get out of here.
the police lights changing the color of the turkey's head.
So funny. Another one. This is ridiculous.
Oh, he don't like that. Leave, buddy. Come on. Shoot. Shoot. Get out of here! Go! No, he's over there.
Okay. All right.
No, he don't like you. Pull off to the side.
Base turkey.
I think he'll be all right.
Hear the cat crying?
Oh, I thought that was a person.
No. There's a cat having a cry. Because we banned him from being outside.
I don't know how many mornings I've sat under a tree trying to get them close to me, and now I can't get them to go away. Shoot! Scram!
This asshole.
So he doesn't mind shooting him.
Go! 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 Get out of here! Get out of here!
I want to see. That's so funny.
Okay. No.
Is there a reason the cop needs to be there? I don't think so. Acting like they care about animals, please.
He just said that he shoots turkeys.
Meow. Meow. Waiting patiently.
Well, that's no good. There's a fence here. Oh.
Oh.
333 Fond du Lac. I'm currently in a foot pursuit. Gonna
With
be
a turkey.
eastbound. Male. Hi. About 2 feet tall. Short beard. He's behind you. Come on. Mostly brown, some red and white trim. Deceptively fast, lasting northbound on Foxcroft. He's no longer in traffic.
You just wailed at him and he's like...
Oh, taking me back to 2020. thought he was gonna flip my cruiser.
What? What happened in 2020?
No idea.
Well, I come down here to go home instead of going up Richmond because I think I will avoid things.
Yeah. We chased. He's not in traffic anymore. That's all that matters.
Can't catch them all. I'm sure he will.
At least he wasn't like
When I got out of the car, I'm like, this could be a first report of injury that's going to get laughed at a lot.
You're like, am I going to have to tase a turkey?
I was like, I know OC works real well on dogs. Oh boy.
He's talking about pepper spray?
I guess so.
All right, well, thanks for the backup.
$341,743.
Relatable psychological biases, and one of my favorites because despite being referenced in pop culture nearly all the time, if you even skim the actual paper, there's no way anyone, because you'll immediately realize that our homies Dunning and Kruger were really just pranking students and calling it research. If you're unfamiliar, the Dunning-Kruger effect is if I got my exam back and the professor said to me, well, you thought you did better than 95% of the other students, but you actually only got 2 out of 10 questions correct. I'd then think to myself, wow, everyone else must have done really badly. In pop culture, the Dunning-Kruger effect is that stupid people usually massively overestimate their own intelligence, and smart people tend to underestimate themselves. This is most commonly expressed with this chart, which says that when you know very little about something, you massively overestimate your own ability and think you're a genius, and it takes significantly more knowledge on the subject to realize you don't actually know very much at all, then you start a podcast about here. A somewhat recent example of this, according to Neil deGrasse Tyson, was Terrence Howard, who published a 26-page paper and multiple 4-hour-long Joe Rogan dissertations on why 1 × 1 = 2. Nearly everyone, of course, was
Amazing.
like, bro, that doesn't even make any sense. 1 × 1 is obviously 1. It's just one
One
group
multiple
of
of one is
Which
one,
itself isn't the
dickhead.
Dunning-Kruger effect, but it is the midwit meme, because anyone who's taken
Does it
university
mean
math
the
knows that if the
multiple, which
exam
means
said
it's
prove
three?
1 × 1 = 1 and gave you an entire blank page to answer, you know you're completely fucked. The original paper by homeboys David and Justin was called Unskilled and Unaware of It, How Difficulties in Recognizing One's Own Incompetence Lead to Inflated Self-Assessments, which is already funny because it means one of the guys in the lab had the idea, then went to the other and was like, bro, wanna help me with this? You'd be perfect. In the original paper, they administer a battery of tests to participants, then get them to self-evaluate how they thought they did. Most importantly, they were like, first category, humor, wherein there were actually some people who thought, yeah, I think I probably got 60% on the funniness test. And then the researchers were like, sorry, all wrong. Which in itself is hilarious. The details are even better because the methodology was to get students to rate jokes from 1 to 11 and then compare their rankings to professional comedians and comedy writers. I presumed they chose 1 to 11 instead of 1 to 10 to make the math easier, but they literally don't even mention why and don't do it again. So it turns out they were just making a Spinal Tap reference. 13,000 citations, by the way. They then were like, yes, we even included some classics from Jeff Roven's really silly pet jokes, and when they sent them out to be rated by the pros, there was a total of 8 comedians that responded. But the researchers were like, yeah, all the comedians' ratings correlated positively with the others, except for one, so we got rid of his responses. Which immediately caused me to think this person was Shane Gillis on his 30-second Bud Light, calling all the jokes gay. It's also the classic lesson that no matter what level of research you're doing, whenever you have a statistical outlier that doesn't fit with your assumptions, just get rid of it. Because they literally compared what professional comedians thought versus some random test subjects, that means that when some innocent 19-year-old student read the joke, and this is an actual joke by the way, what is as big as a man, but weighs nothing? His shadow. They thought, well, that was pretty clever, I'll rate this joke a 5. The administrators were then like, no you fucking idiot, that one was a 1.3. To make matters worse, here's an actual joke that was literally the highest rated in the whole study and given a 9.6 by alleged comedians. If a kid asks where rain comes from, I tell him, God is crying. And if he asks why God is crying, I tell him, probably because of something you did. While it's now obvious where millennials get their anxiety from, in this situation the student is probably thinking, I'm rating this one a 3, why are you instilling the fear of God into a child? But at this point, David Dunning is high-fiving Justin Kruger in hysterics, being like, yo, that's the unskilled and unaware of it effect for you. Whoa, these kids, man. In classic Neil deGrasse Tyson fashion, the actual results of the study are not the Mount Stupid chart he was referencing, and what the chart actually looks like is this. This is the line that represents where your actual test scores rank you compared to other students, and this is how the students rank their own performance. What is often called the Dunning-Kruger effect are these two gaps. The bottom performers overestimated their performance, and the top performers underestimated. This whole chart is misleading though, because it makes you think the bottom performers got 0 out of 10, and the people up here got 10 out of 10, but it's actually all relative performance. So it's possible the people at the bottom got 6 out of 10, and the people at the top got 8 out of 10, and the chart would still look the same. But good news, they thought of that. Here's the results from the logic puzzle study, which had objectively right or wrong answers. The underlying shape of the chart is basically the same, so I'm just going to erase it like all good academics and chart the more interesting information, which is the actual test scores everyone got out of 10. So in green, I'm going to chart what scores everyone thought they got, and now I'm going to chart in red what their actual scores were. For reference here, nearly the entire bottom quartile got 0, and more than the entire top quartile got 100%. This chart to me is the real juice of the entire study because it's what us laymen psychologically relate to when we think of the Dunning-Kruger effect. I've never met a student who thought they didn't at least have a chance of passing an exam, and then they got 0. When I've taken a class for the second time and knew all the answers, I thought I'd get about 90% because I figured I'd probably screw something up, but then one time I didn't. Frankly, if you stare long and hard into this abyss, it explains just about everything. Matches on dating apps, what you get paid, modern politics, and of course whether or not you just self-identified as insulted or flattered. While this is what we all relate to, it's actually the case that none of the things we've looked at so far are actually the Dunning-Kruger effect. Back in 2020, I remember seeing a pretty viral article that said, "The Dunning-Kruger effect is probably not real," which is not only a cautious and self-aware headline, but one where the original researcher went on to explain that you can get the same chart pattern where both over and underperformers look miscalibrated as a result of statistical noise, and while this is a legitimate explanation of the entire chart shape and applies directly to the overperformers in the study, the underperformers are addressed regarding this issue in the original paper. In the study I just mentioned, people in the bottom 25% who got on average 0.3 out of 10 on the logic test, which is worrying given that they're Cornell University students, thought they'd gotten about 5 out of 10 correct. The administrators then gave them a 10-minute training session on how to do the logic puzzles they just did, and suddenly they looked at their own answers again and estimated they'd gotten about 1 right. Meaning Dunning and Kruger had humbled our future world leaders into thinking they're now only 3 times as good as they are. Statistically though, this basically collapses the perception gap and largely shows that when someone overestimates their own low level of ability, it isn't statistical noise or regression to the mean, it is actually because they do in fact have an idea of what they're doing, but that idea is completely incorrect. Nevertheless, this is what the Dunning-Kruger effect actually is. A skilled person knows they're skilled, an average person knows they have average skill, and a person with no skill thinks they have average skill.
Did you know the Forbidden City?
This too is extremely relatable because it means that the
collection of preserved wooden buildings in the world.
What?
The Forbidden City.
Oh.
Is the largest preserved structures, like wood structures, like the largest complex of preserved wood structures in the world.
Neat.
Pretty cool.
You learned that from your commie girlfriend?
No, I was...
not denying she's a communist, I see.
Well, if you're Chinese, you're communist, right?
Generally
That
speaking,
works.
Chinese people look Chinese.
But no, we're talking about what actually. I think I was watching a science communication channel, and they were talking about world wonders. No, you know what it was? I was looking up. I got sidetracked.
You?
And started looking at impact craters. Impact craters around the world. Here's another fun fact. Chicxulub is not the biggest crater on Earth. Did you know that?
Yeah, it's my...
Chicxulub is not the biggest thing that has ever hit Earth.
bunghole.
Fucking nuts. There is one in the Free State of South Africa, which is twice the size. Twice as big.
The actual Dunning-Kruger effect isn't that idiots
And
are
then there's
walking
one in
around
Canada,
thinking
which
they're
is
geniuses.
only slightly
It means that in
smaller.
an area where you're hopelessly incompetent, people genuinely think it'll make a difference that they're 260. And it takes acquiring a bit of skill to realize you didn't have any to begin with. The issue here is that if you ask 99.9% of us if we've ever actually truly and honestly skill-checked ourselves with much of anything, the answer is usually no. Take the guy who posted the now removed "I would have survived the Titan submersible implosion" Reddit thread. He went on to say, "Yeah, they say it would be scientifically impossible, but I would have found an air bubble or something." Initially, everyone was vehemently arguing you would experience over 300 atmospheres of pressure. You'd be crushed like a tank rolling over an aluminum can. And he was like, I don't see how a tank would get crushed by rolling over an aluminum can. And then they were like, no, if you were the can, the water would feel like a tank rolling over you. And he was like, I mean, I've done a lot of swimming, and I just don't really feel the water could do that to me. And then another person would be like, you would be over 10,000 feet underwater. Even if you weren't crushed, you'd have to hold your breath for at least 2 hours to swim to the surface. And he'd be like, yeah, I'd find a shorter way. Early commenters became enraged and fought tooth and nail to convince this guy he was wrong, but it had no effect because he was just way too fucking high. Moral of the story, never attribute to stupidity what could be adequately explained by stupidity. Now you might be thinking, shame that post was removed. I was going to go read it to fact check all the details you mentioned. And while you can definitely trust me, this is exactly what your enemies are thinking about you and your personal information.
I think you fucked that up.
Which brings us to today's sponsor,
I think it was a
Incognito.
joke.
Well, I laughed.
You all here today under my gazebo to share some bad news with you, unfortunately. The bad news is, after coming home from China for 3 months, I am finally out of Chinese cigarettes. This is the last one. And we had a good run. I came back with about 10 packs. I shared them with friends. I took them to parties. I bonded over these, and we're left with one. So, I wanted to. Since I started this journey with you guys about 3 months ago, in China, oh, my nose is dripping. In China, when I tried every Chinese cigarette at a Chinese bodega, this is the end of this chapter, so light one up with me, will you?
I kind of love this girl.
Honestly, it's just, oh wait, we have to do this.
Such a funny channel.
Ah, there we go. There we go. This is a full
Stop
circle
this.
moment.
I'm just flexing.
The only thing that would make this more poetic is if we ended this in China. The cigarettes that I'm smoking they're Phoenix cigarettes. I think these are pretty good when I tried them the first time. I like the fact that they're slim, I like the filter, I like the color, and they taste pretty good. But along with this bad news, I have some good news to share with you, and I think the good news outweighs the bad news. Which is, when one pack closes, another pack opens. Get it? Pack. Okay, sorry. Because this gives us the opportunity today for us to go look for some more Chinese cigarettes in LA, because that's where I live. I live in LA, and I'm sure, as most of you know, LA is pretty populated with Chinese people, especially on the east side. So what I've decided to do today is I've decided to finish the cigarette, take my fiance along with me, and we're gonna search for Chinese cigarettes so we can hopefully keep this party going. These are for special occasions though. I think a lot of you think that I smoke regularly, but I don't. I typically live a non-smoking lifestyle, but these are for special occasions. The Chinese cigarettes and cigarettes in general are reserved for special occasions. Let us go out in LA today and
dirty,
search
filthy fucking
for some
cunt.
Chinese cigarettes, and
Whoa.
hopefully we will be able
Don't
to
say
do
that
what
about
Jacob
her.
Jones couldn't do.
Who the fuck?
All right? Don't smoke, by the way. It doesn't do much for your body, but it's fun.
Who
as
built
I said
it?
Before, so, are you ready to go on this adventure with me? Hold my hand. Let's go. We're by LAX, and the reason why I'm all the way over here is because I left
Fucking
my purse
Norway.
on a Southwest flight last week, and so I had to come pick it up from the Southwest baggage claim. I think you're gonna find Chinese cigarettes on the east side of LA, or the east side, either in Chinatown proper, which is downtown, or the unofficial Chinatown, which is in the 626 Valley. That's all on the east side, okay? Since I'm by the airport, I just looked up a smoke shop nearby, and it looks like a big smoke shop. Hold on. Hello from Head Stop. All right. Oh, look at this what it looks like. Hello. Good. Do you guys sell cigarettes here? No? Oh, is that... Do you know if all smoke shops don't sell cigarettes, or... Oh. Okay. Okay. This is a weird question. Do you know if any place sells Chinese cigarettes? Imported cigarettes? No. Okay. All right. Thank you. I wish you guys could have seen that guy. He looked blazed as fuck in outer space. He was literally an alien. He was so fucking high. I was surprised he could have carried on a conversation with us. But okay. So no cigarettes in that head shop. I kind of figured there weren't going to be Chinese cigarettes, but it's surprising that there's no smoking cigarettes. There was every type of vape and bong you can imagine, though.
Amazing.
So I guess now we know. Let's head to the east side. Can you tell where I am?
No, not recording. Okay, I'm recording.
You were recording before already.
No, I wasn't.
You weren't?
No. There was no counter thing on the top left.
There was. All right, can you tell where I am? I'll give you a hint. Well, I'm gonna tell you. I'm in Chinatown. And Chinatown only spans like 2 blocks.
Chinatown? You were trying to walk this through like this.
There's a lot of little knick-knack stores. It's like, how do these stores? Whoa! Whoa!
What we watch?
Mini bikes.
What the heck? That was cool. It's a famous Eastern medicine herb shop. I think you can go there. I think you can actually go there in the back, and they'll do like a physical on you, and then they'll prescribe you Eastern medications that you can get up front. There's a grocery store right here.
Yeah.
I don't know if they sell cigarettes though. I'm gonna take a gander in here and see if they sell cigarettes.
Wasn't it an older one? No.
Oh, they smell cigarettes.
It was a horror movie,
Hello.
wasn't it?
Battle Royale.
Do you sell cigarettes here?
Yes,
no?
that's the one.
Oh, huh? No. We're looking for
It
cigarettes.
looked old.
Oh, thank
Sounded
you.
2000.
Well, maybe you can help us. Do you you said the liquor store around here sells?
Store right on the corner.
I love all of her accessories.
Okay. Do you know if they have Chinese cigarettes? Oh.
So we sell like mostly herbal and dry grocery. So like your sauces, your snacks, and all that. But we still do, your herbs, sea cucumber, dry seafoods and stuff like that.
Let's look around. Actually,
Yeah, look around. Okay,
That's an interesting story.
Wow, this is amazing. He knows me from Instagram. He's a Costco Ho fan. But he said, okay, the bad news is, I don't know if you heard, no cigarettes here, but there's cigarettes for sure on the corner store. Doesn't know if there's Chinese cigarettes. All different types of bark, I'm assuming. Oh my god, gross! What are you doing in there? China has its own version of Spam. Hold on, it's called, okay, there's a couple types actually. There's one called Fortune. One called Hot Pot. The Fortune one seems to be the most popular. This one, the blue can. I think there's some controversy about this, okay? This is a Milo. It's advertised as like a sports drink. It's like vitamins and minerals. I think maybe in the Southeast Asia, people drink it as a sports drink. That's how it's marketed. But it's just sugar water. It's like so much sugar and 11 grams of sugar per 3 tablespoons.
How fucking dare you?
Like, there are vitamins
Don't talk
and
shit on
minerals in
Milo.
it, but I think I remember some people saying that like this is like really like, look, there's a guy doing slam dunk.
Buy the fucking
Is that any
shit
different from Gatorade, I guess?
and eat
Gatorade
it.
has a bunch of sugar in it
Put
too.
it in milk.
We just sell sugar.
60% Milo.
The real poison is
40%
sugar,
milk.
okay? Like, I know some of you guys would be like, Kat, you're searching for cigarettes. You shouldn't be talking
And then
about health, but like,
enjoy.
listen to me. Cigarettes once in a while is not bad for you. I'd rather smoke a cigarette a day than drink a can of soda a day. I feel like a can of soda a day would kill me faster. But that is
objectively, that's worse.
Like, that is my personal
Smoking.
opinion, but if there's any doctors out there, I think they would also agree with me. Well, this has become a Chinese grocery tour. But this is, I can't read this, by the way, but every Chinese household has this. It's a syrup. It's like a syrup, but people use it for every ailment, okay? You have a cough, drink some of this. You have a stomach ache, drink some of this. You have a headache, drink some of this. Your Viagra ran out, drink some of this. You're in a bad mood, drink some of this. So this is like our cure-all for everything. I actually don't even know what's inside of it, but every Chinese, even I think maybe Asian household has this. Herbal formula right here. Honey and liquat cures everything. Oh yeah, there's so many
the famous.
Makes sense.
Oh, it's all American ginseng.
I was sick for the last week.
Oh, it's right.
Every
Oh
single
my
day I'd
God,
take a
guys.
teaspoon of honey and drink some tea.
This right here.
Never got really sick.
If you have a little bit of water weight that you want to get rid of, like this is not gonna melt tummy fat, but if you have water weight, like shit in your stomach that's weighing you down, this right here, the China Slim Tea, I didn't even know they had different flavors. Is gonna make you shit everything out, okay? Your hopes, your dreams, your worries, your values, everything. And they have different flavors here. And they also now, they have a extra strength one right here. There's two types, the Nutra Slim Tea, this works, but also the China Slim Tea. And the secret ingredient in this tea is called senna. And senna is a laxative, it's a natural laxative. And it obliterates your insides in a good way. Right, this whole section right here, look at this. This whole section right here is China Slim Tea. It's actually kind of toxic because like Asian moms, they're not really shy about telling you gain weight. So when I went to college, I gained some weight and I came back and my mom had me start drinking this. And it kind of suppresses your appetite a little bit too, I think because of the senna. So that's when I got put onto it, was when I gained the college weight, unfortunately. I love like tangy, acidic things. So I put black vinegar into like all of my soups, noodle dishes, everything. And this is the brand I get. It's Jinkyang vinegar. We call it 醋, hey 醋. But
do you take like energy gels or anything?
I drink
like
energy drinks. Is that
energy drinks?
Yeah.
Or like for like endurance or like athlete like like training?
I don't.
Running and all that? Or
Not.
do you have friends that do?
Actually, you know what? I do.
This is like, it's one of my.
Can I hold this?
One of my little brother.
Okay.
He just created the brand called Fly Energy Drink. So he's starting something new. There's 4 flavors right now that he's trying. His favorite is lychee, which is like those little lychee cups.
Yeah.
That's what it tastes
Oh, I
like.
love those. Yeah.
I mean, shoot, you could even have one too as a candy, you know? If
Yeah.
You don't mind. Like, you could try some. Maybe your friend could try some.
So is this does this have caffeine in it or is it just all natural?
It's all natural.
Wow.
Yeah. So
okay.
it's like you could throw it in your pocket, like your gym bag.
I'm probably gonna. Yeah, I'm gonna try some of these and I'll give these to my friends too.
That is so awesome.
What's your name?
Simon.
I'm Kat. Nice to meet
Yes.
you.
Thank you.
Thank
And
you.
your name?
Steven.
Steven. Nice meeting
Is this
you.
your
Nice to meet
store?
you.
Family run.
Family store?
Yeah, so I'm
Awesome.
pretty much a 3rd gen.
Really?
Do you mind if we take a picture?
Yeah, let's take a picture together.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Thank you.
Have a good night.
Bye.
Bye. Oh, so nice. I want to try these.
One should be right in this corner right here.
Oh, the shiesties. We got the shiesties up here. Which is like kind of ironic for Asian people because if you've ever seen an Asian person wearing a shiesty, it's so, it's very funny looking. Like where our face frames, our face shapes do not complement shiesties. It looks really dumb.
What kind of hats you like?
This is really right down my alley, but honestly, I feel like the visor is
It's the
not
IE
big
hat.
enough. It needs to be bigger so it can shade more of my face.
I'm going to show 1-1.
Do you have Chinese cigarettes here? Oh, okay. Chunghwa, and then what is it?
Well,
Double happiness. Can I have
I'm
one
getting
of
a dark
each,
age.
please? Yeah. Well, we found him.
But
we
I'm
found
pretty-
him
I
sooner
think I'm
than
pretty
I thought
set
we
up
would. I thought we would have to go all the
to
way
do
to
pretty
the
well.
east side in the 626
From
San
here on in.
Gabriel Valley, but they're here. If you ever want Chinese cigarettes, you can get Chunghwa, and you can also get Double Happiness at Wanwan liquor store in Chinatown. And you should, while you're here, just explore the neighborhood too. Check out that store that we were at earlier. It's a lot of cool stuff inside. I'm happy we got this. I'm double happy, but I am on the search for something other than Chunghwa and this. These are like very basic Chinese cigarettes. I heard that there are these taro cigarettes, these taro flavored cigarettes that are delicious. I don't know if we can get them in America, but I'm gonna try to get some flavored cigarettes because those are my favorite. So we're gonna head on over to the San Gabriel Valley and see if we can get even better Chinese cigarettes. All right, before we head to the San Gabriel Valley though, we gotta smoke these cigarettes. We're gonna find a nice corner to stand on and enjoy these before we head to the next location. And of course you're invited, you may have one as well. All right, now we're just gonna find a nice place to smoke a cigarette. I don't want to be rude and smoke it around a bunch of people, so I'm thinking maybe over here, right here, Chunghwa or double. I actually never had double happiness. I'm gonna go with the double happiness this time.
That one ring, that's her whole finger, is crazy.
You know,
I fuck with it. I like it. Oh, she bought the hat. That's
bring yourself
great.
back home to China, you gotta bring China to where you are, which for me is in America. This makes you feel at home. I'm gonna show you what I'm looking at right now. Okay. You got Auntie over there. You got a bunch of vendors over here. People walking the street. Ooh, these are harsh. The double happiness ones.
Yeah, these are horrible.
These are really bad. Wow. My throat's on
They're
fire.
the cheapest ones, I think.
These are like the ones that I smoked in China that tasted like car emission. These, however, these are the good ones. I want to find the cigarettes though, the skinny ones. These are the man ones. These are the ones that, these are probably the ones that like the mechanics smoke in China. Not that there's anything wrong with mechanics, but this is not a lady cigarette, to be honest. I don't know if I can finish this. This is really bad. All right, I'm gonna put the cigarette out and keep that pack for my enemies. We are in the San Gabriel Valley, which is the unofficial Chinatown. This is the actual Chinatown. This is where most Chinese people live. And in fact, you could probably live in the San Gabriel Valley and not know how to speak English your whole life. So this is the Ranch Market. This is where the Chinese people shop. I'm pretty sure that I can buy Chinese cigarettes in here. At least the popular ones. So the Changhua, the red pack, I can definitely find in here. I think. I'm not sure about the flavored cigarettes. This Ranch 99 is starting to look like an H Mart. It's really nice. I'm gonna show you. I'm gonna take a quick gander of, yeah. You know what's different is like the light. Okay, the first thing that I noticed that's different is the smell of it. The smell is different.
I basically dumped all my faith into builders so I could
make
make sure everything's done for this dark
You know what I like about this ranch? I'm gonna show you. This is the best part about the ranch, okay? It's people's baskets. Look, they have baskets that they wheel around. They're like little suit. It's like a suitcase. 你这里只有两种那个中国的烟吗?
Do I still have that?
Yeah, they only have two. They only have two kinds. Double happiness and Changhua. I asked my friend who's really into Chinese cigarettes, and he said that he's never seen flavored cigarettes for sale in a Chinese grocery store. And usually you have to hit up like those chat groups that sell Chinese imports. But even then, it's kind of hard because you have to get into those WeChat
What do you
groups.
believe?
I don't really have my ear to the ground in those spaces. My ear to the streets, my ear to the streets. In those
What are your thoughts on Assad?
We are all cropped up back here. Okay, this is Emmy.
I know. Beijing
and this
bikini
is
match.
Andrew. Okay, we're gonna go to this place called Da Pei Dang, and it is it's a Chinese barbecue place. But we specifically chose this place so that we can smoke cigarettes while we eat. Wait, they're not smoking cigarettes here.
Pause it for a second.
Maybe
I do
they
want to
do.
address this correctly, or like properly, not just like facetiously. So like we're technically we do like news stuff. Like yeah, our politics are probably more on that side, but like we will actively talk about things that most leftists probably wouldn't touch because of whatever reason. Like. And it's not saying that what we're saying is more valuable than what they're saying. It's just like a different perspective. Like we really don't fuck with states. So like a lot of these narratives that you'll see from a lot of the leftist streamers, like Hassan, where he like talks about China a lot without actually talking about like how fucking repressive it is and how like America is turning into China. That comparison will never come up. From my experience in like the general leftist sort of online space, it seems I don't know. I want to say unserious, but I know that they're serious about it. So it's like my opinions have changed a little bit. Like I'm a bit more receptive to hearing them out, but there are certain things and like we just recorded a video going back and looking at Boy's Ukraine video, and it's just very interesting that someone that would probably consider themselves a leftist just does history lessons and then justifies Russia's actions. Right? It's that kind of thing. It's like anti-imperialism, but you don't engage in anti-imperialism until it's America or like the West. It's just very strange to me that like people would call themselves anti-imperialist and then not live by those principles when, you know, people that they would consider their team would do imperialism and like they just ignore it or they justify it. I don't know. It's an interesting concept. It's an interesting idea. It's developing. I'm developing my opinions on this. I don't know. Watched the Halo video the other day.
Yeah.
Can't wait till we're older. Like when we're unks, then like we can do whatever we want. Like if we're like 50,
That's
who's
true.
gonna stop us?
That's true. That's true. Because when we were here last time, it was the unks that
I
were
edited
smoking
that one.
outside, right? It's kind of weird to go in a
I
restaurant
cut it down
and
by
ask
an
if we-
hour.
You can smoke outside, which is good, but it's a 45-minute wait at least for the outside patio where you can smoke. Someone else has been smoking Chinese cigarettes here. This looks like a fancy pack. There's nothing in here, by the way, but this actually looks like a pretty fancy pack. Looks like Chinese Jesus on here.
Which ones?
No one's smoking out here.
Just like the typical
I feel like
leftist
everyone's
stream.
too polite to start smoking.
Where it's like,
Yeah, but they're hidden away over there. No one's smoking at their table. I
They
feel
just-
like once one person starts, everyone
they have their
might.
narratives.
Including the women
And they
next
stick to
to
their
them.
narratives.
Stassi right there is
Oh.
smoking in front of the kids. He's standing right in front of children, actually.
We watched this
So,
girl
Stassi
smoke a
broke-
bunch of
It's
Chinese cigarettes.
All caps cat.
Is that her channel name?
She might. That's her Instagram name. Bodega
Ah, okay.
Cat is her YouTube channel.
Ah, okay. Because I think the first time I saw her was when you showed me her video initially smoking all the Chinese cigarettes.
She's the Costco hoe.
Was that a thing she did on TikTok or something?
Yeah.
Mm.
That's like her big. That's what like made her huge.
Yeah, okay.
And then she took out her implants and stuff. And said she was like
Really?
done marketing herself like that.
Oh, good for her.
The seal, and they also brought us a ash cup.
Did she get them
There's
for
no
aesthetic
ashtray,
reasons?
so this is basically permission to smoke freely. Oh, is that the chicken? The energizing chicken soup?
Was it purely
This is like-
aesthetic
this is
reasons?
Yeah,
Chinese
she was
Viagra.
just over
No, this is
sexualizing herself
energizing.
for content.
So I'm guessing
okay.
it means sexually energizing.
That's not what it means.
Yeah, whenever they say stuff like energizing, it's like it's for male stamina. We should all take a moment to appreciate the styrofoam plates right here. This is peak.
Cheap as possible.
This is literally peak right here.
All money's going to the food.
Yes.
This is very
And
Chinese.
this place has a health score probably like a 3.6 to 9 or so, which is perfect for.
Oh, it's actually right. It's an 8.
It's a what?
It's an A.
It's an A? Oh, I don't know if the food's gonna be good then.
It has like a 3-point-something stars though.
Oh, 3-point-something stars. Okay, then that's good.
The Chinese don't care about the microplastics.
When a Chinese restaurant has 5 stars, you know that it's like fusion food instead of actual Chinese food.
Exactly.
Like, all the people who do ratings are like
This is
white
what
people. So
Yuki
they're probably,
says.
like parents, and they're probably like,
So like, this is white people food. This isn't Chinese
like,
food.
raters didn't kiss my ass. I think everybody would prefer to have good ratings though. Like on campaign.
Yeah, you know.
Spicy food is so good with beer. It's like you take a bite of really spicy, flavorful food.
This is the first day, actually, the first day is like fucking long food.
Take a sip of beer.
Yeah, priceless. Yeah. Thank you.
Oh, camera eats first.
Huh?
So camera eats first.
No, go ahead. Emmy eats first.
This is corn on the bread and the bao bun. Genius.
This is literally just romaine lettuce fried in massive amount of vegetable. Oh my god. It's like this defeats the purpose of a vegetable, but it's so good. Alright. Cheers! Cheers, Gumby! Alright. Now it is time to bring out the chungwas.
I got it.
Oh, thank you, babe.
Oh, I'll show you. Here. Just smoke mine.
Oh, gladly. I want a hard, thin pad. They only have the thank you.
Oh, it's thick?
Yeah, it's a thick piece.
Yeah, they only sold. Ready?
Maybe you can just do 10.
Ready? Yeah, with 10. Oh, sorry.
Will you mother?
Sorry.
It's like it's a little bit awkward about where to put your cigarette because you gotta put over all the food and shit. And you gotta hold it in front of you like this. Thank you.
It enhances the food.
But you know, I feel like smoking is only
Smoking,
good when you're not
good.
addicted, or else you're a slave to it. You know. When it has you in shackles, it's no longer fun. It's a necessity. I've never been like addicted to like cigarettes though. I've been addicted to vapes, but not cigarettes.
Yeah. I find it hard to get addicted to
Yeah.
cigarettes.
Is it like
I think it's like the inconvenience. You're like, I have to go outside.
Yeah.
What do you mean? I have to be outdoors.
Also, it like makes you smell bad, and it's like being outdoors. It's like rude to smoke in front of people. Usually.
That's true. Yeah.
When are we gonna bring back smoking on airplanes like they did in Mad